Tonight, Central Iowa Sports Network presents.
Cole's going to get the call up the middle. He sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football, live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink, Central Iowa Football, live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa Football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Shields. Are you ready for some football?
It is a perfect night for high school football. The weather is incredible. The sun heading
Tonight,
down, the
Central
rain is
Iowa.
away, the sky is clear. It's time to play under the lights in high school football in West Des Moines. Good evening, everybody. Paul Yeager alongside Keith Bornes. Jim Kirby will be with us in a couple of moments. We are getting ready for a kickoff of two 4A powers. It's West Des Moines Valley, number one in Class 4A, and Southeast Polk. Don't let that 0-2 record fool you, Keith. Southeast Polk is a team that's lost 2 games by a total of 5 points. Last week losing by 4 at Waukee, a 1-point loss the week before to Johnston. This is a good football team.
It's a very good football team.
And it's 3 last week, not 4. My apologies.
Not a problem. It is a very good football team, probably the best 0-2 football team in the state. Valley several years ago was known as running back U. Well, Southeast Polk is linebacker U. They have some great talent in the defensive backfield, led by those linebackers, and there's going to be a battle tonight.
This is a team that played Waukee close. They were actually leading Waukee, and then all of a sudden Waukee sprung to life of the team of 2014, kind of took Southeast Polk. But this is a team that can throw the ball 6, 7, 8 different guys can catch it at one point.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the quick stats that are on the association's webpage for guys in the state, and they have 7, I counted 7 wide receivers that they can go to, and they have 6 that they seem to go to quite regularly.
And one of those guys is a very good player, and that is Kalen Jennings. He's a senior, 10 catches, 131 yards, no touchdowns yet, but I don't think that's a stat that's going to stay that way very long.
No, he is quite a talent. He runs very crisp routes. He gets down the field. He's open a lot more than teams want to see. But Southeast Polk's got to be pretty proud of that young man.
And they have an incredible quarterback of their own, and that is Thomas McLaughlin. He is 38-72 for 467 yards and 3 touchdowns. This is a kid, a very good baseball player, now a pretty darn good football player as well.
Well, you know, one of the things about Southeast Polk and their overall programs, I mean, baseball, you'd have to say they got a pretty good tradition going over there with that. So the guys that are doubling up in sports and tripling up in sports, a remarkable talent, but I think he's, 5th right now in 4A in passing. He moves around the pocket very well. He can kind of create his own pocket when he needs to, and Lord knows we don't want him to just run.
If you're a Valley fan, you don't want him. If you're a Southeast Polk fan, we know that you're cheering the other way. But this is a team, though, that has had one issue, and that's running the football. They're trying to go to Cole Hauser, but it's been tough sledding for him.
It's very tough sledding, and it's not. You know, the offense is more designed to the run, or I'm sorry, to the pass. And so when you put that run in there, he's got tough yards that are coming up the middle, and I think he's only averaging just a little over 1 yard per carry. But that doesn't mean he is not a good, talented running back. It's just that it is tough sledding up in the middle. They've geared it toward the run, or toward the pass, and they're passing the ball well.
It's got all sorts of things going on. We have to let you know that this broadcast is brought to you by Core Power High Protein Milk. Our pregame show is being brought to you by Core Power High Protein Milkshake. Protein for everyday awesome. And we are going to take a quick break, come back, and get you ready as we talk about the Valley Tigers, the 2-0 Valley Tigers, when we come back on CISN.TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
Do it again, I just did. Why did I have to take a break?
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Action! Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas. Cut! What? Action! We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on. Cut! Action! Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Urbandale.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Tonight's pregame brought to you by Core Power High Protein Milkshake. Protein for everyday awesome. We're back at Valley Stadium. Paul Yeager, Keith Bornes, and Jim Kirby in a moment. Let's talk about those Valley Tigers. They took the trip to Iowa City West last week. Didn't have to play it in the rain. They did have to play it in the heat. And it was a late game. Got back after 1 a.m. on Saturday morning after that game, which was a 33-0 victory for the Tigers. What are they doing right now?
They're starting to play together. Early on in the season, one of the toughest things to do is just get everybody going the same direction, gelling together as a team. And what Valley is doing right now, they're getting the ball to their running back, who's gaining a lot of confidence. And you would think a guy that's been at the varsity level for a second year would probably come in with a lot of confidence. But still, early on, you're going to have those jitters. The offensive line, anchored behind John Raridan, they're starting to move forward. They're getting down the field. And what I noticed last week against Iowa City West, they were getting their blocks down the field. So all of the linemen, it's the entire team that's going downfield, not just a running back.
And Javon Mason is one of the ones you're talking about. Mason, 36 carries, 304 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His longest of the year is a 35-yard scamper for a score. Austin Cook, though, 23 carries, 118 yards. He, too, has 2 touchdowns. He, too, has started to come into his own.
He really has. You know, coming off of a knee injury like he is, you got to get yourself mentally prepared to get back into the game, because you're going to take a pounding in practice. You're going to take a pounding every Friday night. And so just knowing that you can do that and keep your legs is kind of a key victory.
All right, Hinkle. It's a name that we've said a lot in Valley history here, in recent history. Yes. Austin is the latest on that. 4 catches, 158 yards. A lot of his stats padded by that 78-yard touchdown run he had in the first game that we had here that Keith and I did on CISN.TV against Waukee. Hinkle is one of those guys, can be a big play person for you if you need him.
He really is. And, you know, that 78-yard reception, that was actually 2 catches, kind of a tip to himself. So,
that's right.
You know, the stats are a little misleading on that. What he is offering right now is great routes. Last week against Iowa City West, Hinkle was down the field, and he ran a long out route. And Lombardi throws the ball down the field to only where Hinkle would be able to get it, and Hinkle had to move an additional 5 yards in a direction I didn't think he could go, and came down with it. So he's got great hands, he's running great routes, and he's, again, that word deceptive in speed. He's got really nice deceptive speed because he can run pretty fast.
And we mean that as a compliment, not the way it's described as you and I, and deceptively fast when it comes to the food line. Rocky Lombardi continues to develop. He's a guy that, as Coach Swenson, he'll talk about here in just a couple of minutes. We'll have a conversation with Gary Swenson and also Brad Zelenovich, the head coach of Southeast Polk, in just a couple of moments. But Coach Swenson alludes to the fact that Rocky made some throws that high school kids don't make.
You're right. There are a lot of quarterbacks that don't make those throws. One of them is basically the play that I was talking about that he hit Hinkle. It was probably a 35-yard pass, and he put it in a position that originally I didn't even think the wide receiver could get to because Hinkle was covered very strong.
And there's number 12 in the middle of your screen.
Yeah.
Keep talking
and
there,
so
Keith.
when he threw the ball down the field, it never went above 7 yards in the air. It was just, or 7 yards is long. It looked like it was about 10 feet in the air all the way down the field. It was a bullet. And Hinkle was able to come down with it. The other throw that really impressed me, he was on the run moving forward, and he threw one 65 yards down the field in the air. And, it's just, he's fun to watch because you never know if he's just going to have a short pass that's 100 miles an hour or if he's going to have a long pass that's 100 miles long.
It's developing those underneath routes that could be the part of his game that could use some improvement if you look at last week's tape. All right, you saw on your screen there, number 1, Carlo Marble. His father, Roy, passed away today. Carlo is in uniform. He is scheduled to play. It's up to him. Coach Swenson said the team had a little service right before the game across the street here at Valley Church, and able to kind of talk those things through. I mean, this is an emotional time for anybody to lose a parent. But Roy had been sick. His father had been sick with cancer for a couple of years. Roy Marble, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he is Iowa's all-time leading scorer, and his other son, played basketball for the University of Iowa. So Marble, a familiar name. Carlo last year went to go be with his dad. Heavy heart, tough for a kid to play tonight.
It is, but he's a tough kid. He's got a great family of football, and the guys really have surrounded him. Our heart goes out to Carlo and all of the Roy Marble family, but he's going to pull through. He's got a great group surrounding him to give reinforcement to what he needs right now.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have to talk about a new business coming to West Des Moines that's very familiar to many of you, and it's making me hungry just thinking about it. Keith, take a break. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching high school football. We're getting you ready for Valley and Southeast Polk from Valley Stadium. This is CISN.TV.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special,
he does
and
want-
we do it better. We add the
does want to?
tea. There's a
Okay, we can be
Godfather
quick.
specialty
We have to-
pizza with your name on it. Classic
Okay.
combo, all meat combo.
So
hot
I'm
stuff,
going to try to
taco,
not
yeah,
be
even
in-
veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Back at Valley Stadium, Paul Yeager alongside David Grimm now from Chick-fil-A on the new store coming to University Avenue in West Des Moines, and I'd like to thank you for catering tonight's press box meal. And you know, when they see the Chick-fil-A and the chicken sandwiches, I would imagine you have to are you issued bats to knock people away?
Yeah,
before,
it's going to be
carrying
standard
that?
issue pretty soon. It's pretty addictive. So when you get your first taste, it's hard to stop tasting.
And in a press box surrounded by guys that they know when food comes, they can smell it. It helps when you've got such a product like that. How did the chicken sandwich get to be the main centerpiece of this restaurant?
Yeah, absolutely. That started way back in the 60s with our founder, Truett Cathy. And, he invented the chicken sandwich, and he developed the recipe way back then. And it's tasted just as good all these years later. And so that has been the staple ever since.
You've got some stores in the metro. I know there's one in Ankeny. I know there's been a couple of other spots, but you've got this new one coming out. What other locations do you have in the metro?
So we are opening the University Avenue, obviously, and also Ames, Iowa, over at the university there is coming very soon. It'll be opening 1 week after ours. And so we've got plans. Dubuque is coming. Iowa's going to be filled with Chick-fil-A's before we know it.
And they're going to like the sandwiches. And milkshakes aren't too bad either.
Oh, yeah. They're delicious.
My boys are a big fan of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we passed out some free milkshake cards last week, and hopefully everybody's going to use them pretty soon.
So David Grimm, the manager at the University West Des Moines location for Chick-fil-A. What's the target date for opening?
October 7th.
And so what do you,
Yeah.
I know you usually have some type of, I won't call it a ceremony, but some type of kickoff. What do you got planned?
Yeah, so we got all kinds of fun stuff coming up. On Monday, the Monday just before opening, we've got a premiere night for a lot of local raving fans. They're going to get to sample the menu. We got Tuesday night. The first 100 are going to camp out in our parking lot, and they're going to get free Chick-fil-A for an entire year.
It looks like a camping ground for maybe outside of at Duke University when they're trying to get tickets there, where they camp outside. So that's a thing that happens from location to location, right?
Location to location, all for the locals of the town. So.
And they camp out. How early do you let them camp out?
So they will get there about 10 p.m. the night before, and they'll camp out all through the morning and be ready for the doors opening first thing.
And you got a lot of stuff to do yet before the store opens?
Yes, lots of stuff. A lot of stuff packed in about 2 more weeks, and just got all the equipment in today.
And you're in a new a spot that's familiar to many Central Iowans. It's the old Macaroni Grill, and it had been another couple of spots next to Barnes & Noble right there on University on the south side of the road. Do I have the right spot?
You do have the right spot.
And plenty of parking right there, so you
Lots
don't have
of
to worry about crammed in there, and it should
You
be good.
still may have to worry about the parking.
And that's a good thing for you,
Yeah,
right? You like
it's a
it when
very
that
good
happens.
thing.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, David Grimm, with Chick-fil-A. Appreciate the meal, and
Absolutely.
I have my eye on another one. No,
All right.
and so somebody else. All right, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
David. All right, when we come back, we will talk about the Tigers and the Rams, and if we get a chance, we'll talk with Athletic Director Brad Rose of Valley Tigers. It's Valley and Southeast
Hi,
Polk
we're the
next
Waters boys. I'm Todd.
on
I'm Pat.
CISN.
The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we got it all.
Action! Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas.
Cut!
What?
Action!
We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on.
Cut! Action!
Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need
Cut!
you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Urbandale.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we got it all.
Tonight's weather report brought to you by the folks at ABC5. Right now it is 64 degrees, partly cloudy skies, headed for a low of 47 by kickoff. And by halftime, we should be dipping into the 50s. And by the end of the game, maybe 57 degrees. That's brought to you by ABC5, who, if you do go to their website, you can see in-game highlights. They cut up some of the things that we're putting together. And we've got Brad Rose here, as my understanding is going to join us. So, Keith, I may have to just push you away for a moment because the boss needs to talk. Of course, he has such good timing. He shows
Impeccable.
up. He
Impeccable
does.
timing.
So I'm going to seriously push you away.
All
and
right.
we'll get to you in a moment. We got a whole game with you, and that's probably what they all want. Is everybody wants Keith Bornes, but Brad Rose is up here now with us, and As we get you ready for kickoff here, as you take a look at the top 10 Valley tonight, Cedar Falls hosts Mason City, Bettendorf hosts Pleasant Valley, Dowling is at Waukee, Fort Dodge is at Waterloo West. It's the battle for Ankeny, Centennial, and the Hawks. Cedar Rapids Kennedy hosts North Scott. It's a battle for Bettendorf as Pleasant Valley plays at Bettendorf tonight, Johnston and Urbandale. And those are your 9 and 10 teams. But we've got number 1 right here, Brad Rose and the Tigers. How was that trip last week over to Iowa City for you?
Long. It was a really nice facility. We had a couple injuries after the game, so I ended up not getting home until about 4 a.m. Then we had volleyball at 7 back at Valley. So part of being an athletic director is making sure your kids are okay. You know, it's not I'm not complaining. It's just what happens sometimes. And
that's what happens. Yep. And everybody's okay though now.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great trip. The beautiful facilities over there. We have the nicest, I think, stadium in the state, but obviously West has 80 acres of grass and on their campus. You know, they got practice fields everywhere. I was kind of jealous, to be honest with you, a little bit.
And soon, not to be the youngest high school in Iowa City. They're about to build a 3rd high school in Iowa City.
Liberty High School, and I've seen where that's going to go, and it's going to be a nice addition for them. I think it'll hurt West a little bit in enrollment, but, you know, man, they got a nice school district.
That's what happens. All right, so what else you got going on here? You mentioned the volleyball tournament last week that you had to get to. What else you got going on in the department?
We just got just kind of chasing schedules, kind of getting ready for next week with Dowling, you know, after we host Southeast Polk tonight. All the volleyball teams, all 3, 9, JV, and varsity on the road tomorrow. Marshalltown, Southeast Polk, and Johnston, I think, is the 3 different locations we go to. Everybody else has the weekend off. We have our big Tom Carpin cross-country meet right here on campus. We're right here by the stadium up at Southwoods on Tuesday. Got 1,500 runners signed up for it. So it'll be a junior high meet and along with high school kids, and that starts at 4:15, and that'll be exciting. If you don't have a reason to be here to watch it, you might want to avoid the neighborhood because it gets pretty busy, you know. But then we got, you know, we're playing junior high games, football games up at Tiger Field now. We got a concession stand there. I really feel like that's a nice venue for the younger kids. You know, it gets them a chance to see our high school a little bit, and you know, I just really am happy with the direction things are going. We're always working hard to get things better, but it's an exciting night tonight. Nice, beautiful weather.
And a good opponent. I mean, this is, you know, 2-0 and 0-2, but this is not an 0-2 team. Keith and I were talking about that. Southeast Polk, 4 points separate them between wins and losses in both of their games. Different coaching staff, but yet the same coaching staff with Brad Zelenovich, who'd been on the staff, went to Ankeny for 2 years. Now he's back, head guy, went to Simpson just down the road. It's a good rivalry, too.
I like the way that sounds. Went to Simpson. I like that because I was there.
I do what I can to drop things in for
He's a great guy. His dad, I've known his dad for a long time. I actually coached his brother in the All-Star Series when he was a really good shortstop at East High School, and just a good family all around. You know, Grandpa's got a lot of background in football. I saw him on the sideline. You know, historically, they've beat us 2 out of the last 3 years, so we don't take this game lightly. We've always played them after Dowling. You know, we used to play Dowling game 1 or game 2, and then we played Polk after that. It was a little bit of a letdown, and they would come ready, and they had good teams, and they really controlled the line of scrimmage and made us better. And hopefully we'll do the same to each other tonight. Hopefully it'll be a good look for both of us to get us ready for, you know, I really feel like Swenson does a great job. Our kids improve all year. And I feel like Zelenovich will do the same thing for Southeast Polk.
We saw just a moment ago there on the monitor, you got some fans with red, white, and blue balloons. It is 9/11, 14 years later since the attacks in New York and in Washington. Anything special or decals or ceremony, moment of silence, anything you got planned tonight, or did the balloons just show up because?
The kids did the balloons on their own. Southeast Polk asked if they could bring flags in and do a USA colors today. We said absolutely, no problem. You got to be a little careful with what they bring in, sticks and things like that at flags. There's a little bit of a state rule on some of that. We're going to do a moment of silence. We felt like our school, our kids felt like we should do a moment of silence. So we said, yeah, we'll do that right before the band plays the anthem. Then the band will play the anthem. Then we'll let some balloons off. You know, I think we all of us our age, or I'm a little older than you, that can remember what we were doing. I was teaching 7th grade in Ankeny, and it's probably the most teachable moment I've ever had in education. Explain to kids what happened, the fear. Some of those kids had parents still in New York on business, and our principal did a great job. Daniel Chappell did a great job of just reminding us that we weren't under attack at our school and we're safe. And I just remember it being a very sad day, but a very teachable moment, and our world's changed since. There's no doubt about it.
And students today still interested, as you mentioned, the high school, even the elementary kids. My 9-year-old today was talking about it. You know, he's very aware of it, and hopefully we just don't forget in this country. You know, the saying always is, never forget, always remember.
Well, we've also, in my position, we've also taken some real security measures at our facility here to make sure people are safe. You can't guarantee against everything, but we bag check. We do everything here. We want families coming here knowing they're safe. And on a day like today, we're on very high alert behind the scenes, and we've been in good contact with the West Des Moines Police Department, our security system team that's here. We want people to still come to games and have a positive experience.
All right, Brad, I'll let you get to it. Thank you so very much for spending time with us.
You guys do a great job. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Brad Rose, athletic director here at Valley High School, and he's pretty active during the games on Twitter at VHS Tigers, and you can also talk to us at CISN TV on Twitter or visit our Facebook page and tell us where you are watching tonight. One of our 4 games that we're bringing to you tonight, Urbandale and Johnston, is available. Also Dowling and Waukee, and you've also got Southeast Polk and Valley for video games, and then you also have the audio game of Centennial and Ankeny. That's going on CISN.TV right now. When we come back, we're going to hear from head coach Brad Zelenovich and Gary Swenson. This is the pregame show on CISN.TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Welcome back to Valley Stadium. Paul Yeager, Keith Bourne is here, and tonight's keys to the game brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet.
Tonight, for Southeast Polk to be successful, the first thing they have to do defensively is make sure that they contain Mason. They also need to pressure Lombardi and force some throws. Offensively, they got to get their short passing game going and keep spreading the ball around. For Valley, we got to feed Mason and make sure that the linemen are controlling the line of scrimmage. Defensively, we got to get into those passing lanes and disrupt their short game.
All right, those are the Schottenkirk keys to the game, brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Thank you, Keith Bordas. Now let's talk with head coach of Southeast Polk, Brad Zelenovich.
2 losses, 5 points. How do you tell these kids, hey, you're a much better team than what that record reflects?
I think it's, you tell them that, but then I think, we as a staff can do a lot in terms of how we treat our business and go about our day-to-day business and try and stay as keen as we can and, stay positive and enthusiastic and just continue to move forward, like at the end of the stick the last 2 weeks.
You've got guys, a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. You're throwing it to 6, almost 7 different guys. You're a pretty tough team to defend, don't you think?
At times, we feel comfortable with the guys on the perimeter, and obviously, the quarterback's got a lot of experience, so that helps. But like we talked about, we got to be better up front and got to run the football a little bit better if we're gonna beat a team like Valley.
Running the ball, you mentioned that's a place of improvement. Is it scheme? Is it the way defenses have played? Anything you've been able to identify?
I think a combination of a lot of things. Got a bunch of guys that haven't played a whole lot, so that's one thing. They don't have a lot of experience, but, other than that, scheme-wise, we felt pretty comfortable, but just some, little things that guys pick up with experience that they don't have. So moving forward, we expect those guys to get better, and they have. We've just played 2 pretty good teams the first 2 weeks, so.
And a good one tonight. We'll get into them in a moment. Defensively, you always have good linebackers at Southeast Polk. This year's no different. Why?
I think it's we've kind of hanged our hat on being physical and stopping the run and running the football on offensively, but specifically talking about defense, that's been a prideful group, and there's been consistency with the coaching staff on that side of the ball, and kind of some tradition of guys that there's a high expectation of playing good linebacker, having good linebacker play at our place, and that's just kind of a tradition that's been a set the last 10 to 15 years.
What's that transition been like for you to come back after a 2-year hiatus?
you know, a lot of things have changed, you know, believe it or not, you know, when you're dealing with, you know, a 4A school and, you know, the educational process and things like that. But there's some familiarity with, you know, people and relationships haven't changed. But, you know, we got to continue to coach our guys up and put them in position to win. And, you know, schemes and things have changed a little bit. But, you know, other than that, it's pretty much the same.
All right, you're familiar with the teams and you're familiar with Valley. What stands out on tape in their first 2 games that you have to control?
Well, they're just so physical. You know, I think they've always been able to, take pride in running the football, and you know, they got a group up front that might be as talented as they've had in a while, and then obviously another Mason in the backfield who's extremely talented. You know, everything starts, you know, with their quarterback, and as much as they want to be physical, you know, they can throw the football and have some weapons on the perimeter, and they're just so balanced and so well coached, and they don't beat themselves. And, you know, obviously you talk about continuity of a coaching staff and tradition. You know, this is the standard in 4A football. And then defensively, they're the same thing. You know, they're aggressive. They're very sound and fitting their gaps and reacting and getting to pursuing to the ball, and you know, stopping the run is, you know, at the top of their priority list.
Do you see holes behind their defense, their linebackers before the secondary gets in as a spot where maybe McLaughlin can get into it?
Well, you know, we'll have to see. You know, they're, like I said, they're pretty sound in what they do, front and coverage-wise, and, you know, they got a lot of experience on defense, and a lot of those guys have played. You know, especially those 2 linebackers, like we talked about, stand out as being, you know, really good football players, and you know, really athletic in the back end.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's Brad Zelenovich, head coach of the Southeast Polk Rams. Now let's find out what Gary Swenson had to say. As we get to him in just a moment, we will check that out. But first, Keith, I'm going to ask you, breaking down the Rams just a tiny bit more there, what do you hear from Coach?
I hear a very modest coach who anybody that's in the football world knows the Zelenovich name and what he's capable of doing. He put together a great offensive group when he was the offensive coordinator there. He did a great job at Ankeny the last couple of years, and now back at Southeast Polk. What I hear in that is that he is going to rest on that defense. He wants to make sure that that's going to be a high point. He says that his staff or his offense is kind of new together, and they just got to get some more game experience under their belt. And when they do, he's very pleased with the scheme. And I think the scheme is very solid, especially when you have those athletes that he talked about that he's got out on the perimeter. You alluded to it when you talked about the 6-7 receivers that he has that he can throw to. And he's got a really nice running back that once that line starts working downfield together, he's going to be tough to stop too.
Well, and Hauser's one of those guys that got the ball to him last week in the flats. And sometimes if you can't run the ball, you just get him the ball any way you can and just let him do the work.
Absolutely. He's very talented. He's pretty elusive, but he's also a tough runner. He's hard to bring down.
All right, let's hear what Gary Swenson had to say about this game before as we get ready for Southeast Polk and Valley from Valley Stadium.
All right, Coach, you have the long trip. You have a good opponent, 2 good weeks, 2 good wins. How do you feel about, as you look as an overall of this team right now?
I like where we're at. I think we're getting better. I don't know that we still know, you know, how good we are at this point, but I think we've made progress, and relatively healthy. So if you can say those things, even after week 2, you got to feel pretty good.
Offensively, let's start up front. Lineman, you got 2 really good guys. You got to get everybody cohesed in a lineup because it does start up front.
Yeah, we're getting better there. We've got really an elite player up there in John Reardon. Sam Rogers played a year ago as a sophomore. You know, he's a good player. The other 3 guys are all new as far as playing time, and they're getting better. You know, it's just that's a work in progress. It always is, and sometimes it takes you a good part of the year to get those guys where, I mean, you can't make somebody physically different than they are, so you've got to be sure that they're on the same page from an assignment standpoint, from a help standpoint, and just from an effort standpoint. We're getting there.
Because I would imagine you don't want to tip your hand and say we're running behind Reardon or Rogers every play. You do have to run the other spots.
We're not really designed to do that, to be honest with you, especially with zone blocking. You know, you're really blocking areas and working levels from double teams to single blocks, and clearly those would be good guys to run behind, but with what we do, it's really not a case of, okay, we're going to move him around and always go right behind him, because obviously the people we play are well coached, and it wouldn't take them long to figure that out.
Development of your skilled players, how do you feel receiver-wise that you've been able to get them established as the year's gone on?
Seen some good things. You know, Austin Hinkle's really emerging, I think, as a kid for us. It'll be a playmaker. Braden Heald's good. Carlo Marble is going to have a good year for us. Our running backs, I thought Austin Cook really came into his own over at Iowa City. He had a nice night. Javon Mason had a couple big runs. So we're looking for some consistency and things like pass protection and assignment breakdowns. But when those two guys have the ball in their hands, they're pretty good. The receivers, we'd like to see some yards after catch, but they are catching the ball, and they're a good group for us.
When Rocky is somebody that is developed and continues, and he's got, I don't know if you assigned the word elite to him yet or not.
I think he's getting there. You know, last week, both the first 2 weeks, he's been very accurate on the deep ball. Last week, he actually struggled with the short passes that most high school kids can make. But then he turned around and made a couple throws that no high school kid can make like him. And at some point, all that'll come together, and he'll be really hard to handle.
Defensively, up front, big and strong. Southeast Polk's concerned about that. Should they be?
You know, we've always had good matchups with them at the line of scrimmage. They're always tough kids. I don't know how to measure their talent this year. I'm not sure they have that one guy. You know, last year the Marnin kid was an all-state lineman. He was really good. That remains to be seen. I just know how they usually play, and I know Coach Z will have them geared up for tonight. We expect a physical matchup tonight.
Your secondary, is that coming along the way you'd like it to?
Yeah, I'm really happy with those kids. They have, well, at the end of the game last week, we had 4 juniors out there. We had rotated a couple kids out, but, you know, Turner Scott and Petey Economos are really good senior leaders back there. And then the juniors we've got around them are talented, and some of them just need game experience.
You saw the game film, Southeast Polk, 6 plays, 6 different receivers almost. How do you stop a team that spreads the ball all over?
You just got to hope they make a mistake at some point, you know, because in high school football, if you can throw he gets the ball out of his hand quick. That's hard, because I don't know that we can get to him to sack him. So then you got to tackle after they catch it, because they're going to catch, they're going to get their catches, and they're going to move the ball. We got to be able to tackle well and just hope that we can, you know, at some point, if any high school team, if they have to drive the ball far enough, they're probably going to screw up and stop themselves. The good ones don't, but you have to fight them all the way down the field. It's really hard to throw hitches and quick outs on a long drive, because eventually somebody drops the ball, somebody makes a bad throw, you get a holding call. But we'll see tonight what happens.
But they do have that big play ability too. I would imagine you see it.
Certainly. Kalen Jennings is we'd love to have him on our team. He's a great athlete, great receiver. So most teams, just like we do, have that go-to guy. He's their go-to guy.
All right, Coach, thank you.
You bet.
Coach Gary Swenson.
Schedule rather than playing each other. Each team gets 3 home games and 3 road games with participating schools like Southeast Polk.
Action! Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas.
Cut!
What?
Action!
We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on.
Cut! Action!
Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Urbandale.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Auto Land.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Welcome back to West Des Moines High School, Valley Stadium. Paul Yeager along with Keith Bornes, and now the star. Stage the screen, and the man who brings you our sideline reports all season long here on CISN.TV, the one, the only, Jim Kirby. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello, guys up there. I'm telling you, it's pretty patriotic here in the stadium, you know, honoring 9/11 14 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, all those games were suspended. I know for sure it was 1 week. It might even have been 2 weeks they suspended those games. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, we had that Tom Carpin cross-country meet on 9/11, and that was canceled. Very emotional time, and it's great to see that these kids, you know, 14 years later, aren't forgetting.
Well, and that's the honest truth there, Jim, because, I mean, they want to do something. They see the images. Many of them have been to New York or Washington or Pennsylvania, and it's a huge part of our country. I mean, it's our modern-day Pearl Harbor, for lack of a better comparison, and I'm not trying to compare the two, but it's what we have to remember. Many of these kids were only 1, maybe 2 years old.
Right, and if you know that now we're in this video age and you can't help but see those pictures and videos time after time, and so unlike something like Pearl Harbor, the videos are so apparent to these guys and so present. I don't know if you guys noticed when they released those red, white, and blue balloons, there's a nice little breeze that's going left to right across the field here, and I doubt that's going to be a factor, but it's going to be there, and if it picks up, we'll let you know.
All right, and Jim will be on our Shields sideline all throughout the night, and tonight's broadcast brought to you by Atlantic Bottling, Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields, and CenturyLink. And all of reports from Jim Kirby tonight are brought to you by Shields. This is my year. And many of these kids, I mean, I was just in Washington, D.C. a couple of days ago, Keith, and they were, you know, they knew it was coming. You know, the plane that hit the Pentagon and the other one that was intended for the Capitol or the White House, depends on who you believe where that was headed, but it crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, about only 20 minutes of flying distance away from D.C., and then many people had been to New York City and seen where the pile of rubble was, where those two towers went down. And, you know, Brad talked about it. He knew where he was. I'm sure you were in a classroom. I was getting ready to go to work, and it was an incredible time for a couple of weeks, really, in newsrooms.
I remember I was standing in first hour in my social studies class, and I remember the kids. I don't think I've ever seen a more concern on 8th graders' faces as I did right there at that moment, and we were very fortunate that we were able to watch some of it on TV, and we talked about it in classes. And as a staff in West Des Moines, our biggest task that week was to just try and put things at ease. And everybody knew the world was going to change right then and there, and it did. But as we all found, the kids that were sitting there in 8th grade, they graduated from high school, they graduated from college. If it was in the cards for them to go out and have a family and raise a family, they did. And a remarkable time, but a remarkable resilience that came out as well.
The Valley Tigers are ready to take the field. You can hear from Jim's microphone. The field is plenty raucous from up here. It's pretty intense, and here come the Tigers. The Valley Tigers are 2-0. They've got 2 wins, one over Waukee, one over Iowa City West. For the year, as a passing team, they are 23 of 45 for 338 yards, 86 carries for 493 yards. Very balanced approach. The Southeast Polk Rams, they are 39 and 73 of passing for 507 yards. That's third best in 4A. 43 carries for 126 yards, which is 42nd, one of the worst in 4A. It's a challenging time to run the football if you are wearing the yellow and black, but they are up to the challenge tonight, averaging 5.5 yards per play. The Tigers averaging 6.3. The Rams, led by Thomas McLaughlin, the quarterback. He's a senior, 38 of 72 for 467 yards and 3 touchdowns. Look for him to get the ball to Kalen Jennings, number 6. Number 3 is Jackson Cole, and number 6 is and number 10 is Parker Dries. Kalen Jennings is actually the team's second leading rusher with 5 carries and 53 yards. The Tigers with Rocky Lombardi, he's 20 of 42 for 320. Javon Mason, your main workhorse back, 36 carries, 304 yards and 2 scores. Austin Cook, 23 carries, 118 yards. The big play receiver, Austin Hinkle, 4 catches and a touchdown. Braden Heald, the wide receiver, 5 catches, 64 yards, and Carlo Marble, 4 catches and 29 yards. On defense, it's Tristan Cobb, your leading tackler for the Tigers. Ben Campos and Eric Henning are right behind, and the Southeast Polk Rams are led right in the middle. Cody Wunderlich, Eric Pingle, and Michael Traeger. Very good, a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. Valley defers, wins a toss, defers. Southeast Polk will receive and go from right to left. Keith?
It's really going to be a great football game tonight, and the atmosphere looks great for it. Both literally in the air, a great night for football, and the fans. Crowd looks great on both sides. This truly is a football Friday night.
It is great to be a part here as we are in the low 60s, headed for the upper 50s as the night goes on. The window's open. You're going to sleep well tonight, not because of our broadcast. That's what I hope anyway. We'll get you ready here as the Tigers will kick it off, and they'll send out their kicker here in just a moment for their kickoffs. It's Nate Murphy will go out, and he'll take out his orange shoes and tee the ball up at the 40. Back deep for the Rams, and you can feel the stadium starting to sway here. Kalen Jennings, number 6, and number 8 to our right, closer, is... That's Garrett Nothway. So look for Nothway and Jennings to get some touches tonight. Jennings is going to be the guy you're going to have to contain if you're the Tigers. Let's see what this offense can do. Spread offense. They can, a lot of weapons, and they'll come at you quickly. But Murphy will tee it up here. We're ready for some high school football in West Des Moines. Paul Yeager, Keith Bornes, Jim Kirby, and the entire CISN TV crew. Let's play football. Murphy's kick, short, end over end, bounces at the 18, and it's going to be downed right there by number 12, and that's Cole Hauser. Hauser is the running back of this offense, and he'll stay on the field. Here come the Rams under first-year head coach Brad Zelenovich, back where he was an assistant for a number of years. He spent 2 years as the head coach at Ankeny, where he led the team to the playoffs. In fact, they made it pretty far in the playoffs last season. But he wanted to go back to Southeast Polk. His daughter was still a student there, and he knew the system, knew how it worked, and he's bringing this team. It's a very good football team. We're expecting good things here tonight. McLaughlin, the senior, he's 5'10", 175 pounds. And in motion is Jennings. They give it to him on the jet right away. Jennings is tackled for loss behind the line of scrimmage. So already a -1 yard for Jennings.
And we end up with a Tiger on the field down there. Defensively, they read that jet sweep very well, came up, made a great tackle, but defensive back paid for it.
And Jim Kirby, I can't quite get a feel of who that is.
It's number 9, Turner Scott. He's the one that made that great read on that jet sweep and came knifing through there. Looks like he's going to be all right, perhaps.
Looks like he's holding that left arm. or trying to move that shoulder in. I don't know if that's a stinger or anything like that, but we'll keep an eye on that. Jim Kirby on this Shields sideline report. Shields, this is my year, so 1 play, 0 yards for the Rams. They'll have it second as they started this drive on their own 17.
You know, I talked about Drew Gray being the toughest 160 pounds in the country and then the toughest 180 pounds in the country. I can really say that Turner Scott is one of the toughest 140 pounds that I've ever seen.
2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. They go to the right, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for Parker Drees, and it'll be 3rd down and 10.
For number 10, Parker Drees. Falls incomplete. Now 3rd down.
So it'll be a 3rd and long. As McLaughlin looks to that right side, Thomas McLaughlin, 5'10", gets rid of the ball in a hurry. Stands there. He has Hauser next to him in the backfield. McLaughlin looking deep, throws it across the middle. It's caught at the 30 and up for a 1st down. They go right back to Parker Drees. Gain of 17 yards on the play. Move the chains for the Rams.
That's one of those plays that's kind of a takes the wind right out of your sails. You play 2 really good downs. You get good stops. And then all of a sudden, a big play, 1st down.
Ball's at the 37. Jennings in motion. They fake it to him, go back with Hauser underneath. There's a penalty flag. And making the stop for the Tigers underneath. It was Tristan Cobb, and also there was Caleb Herrick. And the initial signal is going to be a legal procedure, and that will go against the Rams. So they'll move it back.
When you have all that motion that's on the field, you really have to time everything up well. People going in motion end up getting 2 people in motion at the same time before the snap of the ball. And so they got a couple of things to iron out here early on.
1st and 15, back to the 32-yard line. Go the Rams. They give it to Hauser, and he's going to be stopped in the backfield. No chance for any gain because of one of those linebackers, Nick Yenser. Yenser was one of the guys Zelenovich was talking about in the open. It's very difficult to try to keep him contained because he's all over the field.
He is all over the field. Right now he's only got 3.5 tackles on the season. That just became number 4.5. But he's drawing double teams. He is taking 1 or 2 guys out of each play, opening up for other linebackers to go in.
Ball goes back to the 30. McLaughlin throws, caught by Jennings near the initial down marker at the 38. And really, that's being generous. It's more like the 36.5. Oh, they will give him forward progress. No, they're not going to give it to the 37. 36.5 is where it is. So a gain of about 7 on that play.
Turner Scott checks back into the defensive backfield. That is great to have him in there as he lines up over the wideout on the near side.
That is a true spread formation. Jennings goes in motion. They fake it to him on the jet. They go out of the backfield with Hauser. Caught at the 35-40, makes a move up to the 45. Hauser is going to be close to the 1st down. Oh boy, he is very, very close. Is Yenser, and I believe that's Campos. No, that's Ben Wilcoxon who comes up. Wilcoxon and Yenser combined for that tackle. We're going to have a measurement right in front of Jim Kirby. And Jim, from your vantage point, it looks like they've got it, right?
Oh, I got a bad angle here, guys. It's hard for me to say.
Other games going on here right now. It's Waukee leading Dowling 7-0. That's in the 1st quarter. You can also watch that game on CISN.TV. Heck, if you want to load up 4 different browser windows at your house, so be it. That's great that you would do that. You can watch 4 different feeds tonight from us here on the network. We are in Johnston for Urbandale at Johnston as they stretch out the chains. Also, it's going to be short by about a foot. So it'll be 4th and a foot. And you might be tempted to go for it if you're Coach Zelenovich. And that was a pass to Hauser, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, you got 9. Also on the network tonight, Waukee is hosting Dowling, and also Dar Danielson is on the call there, and we also have the audio of Centennial and Ankeny going on as well. So 3 games you can watch. It's now 7-7. The Maroons have tied that game over at Waukee. It was a great night for football last week. And so the Rams coming out to punt the football away here, 9:54. Valley and Polk.
Now punting formation for the Rams, number 10, Parker Drees.
You know, Coach Zelinovich did coach with Denny Muller, that magician of fakes here and there. It'd be interesting to see how things unfold in this one.
The punt is a punt that the snap is scooped up by the punter. Fair catch called and made at the 27-yard line by the Tigers' Turner Scott. And we have a couple of technical difficulties, is my understanding, on the Urbandale Johnston feed, so we are working through that. So that play, or that drive, went 7 plays that ended in a punt. But let's go down to the field here, and Jim Kirby for our sideline report. Jim?
Well, as you're watching all that motion that Southeast Polk does, I'm reminded of those Ankeny offensive schemes back there when Coach Zelinovich was doing his time at Ankeny. All that movement, those strange formations, and you can see that influence on Southeast Polk now.
And they had that, they go quickly. The Tigers do out to Carlo Marble up to the 34. As this drive started on the Valley 27, gain of 6 for Carlo.
Gunnar Jorgensen. Gain of 6, now 2nd and 4.
As offset hard snap count, and the Rams come across the line, at least that's what the Tigers think. So our second penalty of the game. So Valley has the football, and they will now move forward 5. You know, Valley's offense is, I won't call it progressed, has evolved over time, all right? Wouldn't you say Coach Swenson was not a guy who threw the ball all the How many years ago would you have had to have gone where Gary was going to throw on first down on the first play of the game?
Oh, I don't recall. I think that is an Aunt Cheryl question. That might be back even before Spencer.
Mason gets the handoff. He's at the 40, has some room down the sideline across midfield and into Ram territory. Before he stopped there by Brady Van Heeswick. Big pickup for Mason up to the 48-yard line. Pickup of 13 on that play.
For the Tigers, now across midfield.
So the Tigers now into Ram territory, 1st and 10, 8:47. Rocky Lombardi, shotgun, gives it to Mason, right back up the gut, and Mason's going to kind of chug his way through. Hunter Salyers went for a ride there and was taken about 4 yards as Mason gets a hard 9.
A very hard 9, and he did it all on his own. That was one of the few times that I have not seen Valley's offensive line really pushing downfield. But you talk about Valley's offense being a progression. Seeing that no huddle is what's strange to me.
Lombardi looks to the right, throws it just underneath, and it's just too tall, or I don't know if Mason just kind of didn't expect the quick shovel. And we do have a penalty flag.
There could have been a few guys downfield.
That's kind of what I'm wondering there. Yep, illegal receiver downfield is the call. Good eyes there, Coach. When a play takes that long, usually that's something that happens.
Very difficult to keep the reins in when the quarterback takes almost 10 seconds off the clock in that play.
It's Coach Swenson tonight in the black hoodie there, or black pullover, and the orange stripe down the middle and on the side. And he did say, had a nice conversation with him before the game, and always appreciate his time, and I also thank Coach Zelinovich for his time before the game tonight to kind of get you informed a little bit about what's going on with these two teams. Rocky Lombardi, handoff Mason, left side. Mason darts it to the outside. He's got some room at the 40, 35, 30 down the left side, 25, 20, knocked out of bounds, 21 at the 21-yard line, and it's almost a gain of 30 yards.
Valley attacking that weak side of the offense, getting to the overhang player, and the split tackle, did a great job of getting up and reaching that defensive end of Polk's. As he does that, it just opens up a wide area for the running back. And Javon Mason, he's a great talent.
Fumbled snap, and it's going to be taken away by the Rams. The ball went off the hand of Lombardi, and it's picked up by the Rams, Braden Vasey. Wow, what a play by Vasey there, Keith. And let's go down. Jim Kirby right in front of you. Just as the Tigers are driving, big stop by the Rams.
Right, Braden Vasey knifed through there and disrupted that snap between Rocket Lombardi and the center. Big turnover, big momentum switch for the Rams.
So the Rams will come back out. They'll have it 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Here at the 7:53 mark, their second possession of the game. Let's see what they do. High snap taken in by McLaughlin. Rolls out to the near side, thrown, and it is intercepted. Boy, it went off of Jennings, and I'll tell you what, Tristan Cobb made a case for it. Incomplete is the rule. It'll be 2nd down.
Noah Barr did a great job breaking on that ball and breaking it up. Going back to that last play, that fumbled snap, a lot of times it could boil down to the snap count, or quarterback just takes their eyes off of it for a second. But as Coach Sweat, both coaches talked about, mistakes are going to be key.
McLaughlin throws quickly, goes up for his receiver there on the right side, Parker Drees. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by G&L Clothing, a real clothing store with real people selling regular, big, and tall clothing for almost a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll in Des Moines. 7:45, no score here. This is kind of the game I thought we would get, but who am I to say? I'm just a guy.
Just a regular fella.
Just a regular fella. Thinking, knowing I had a chance to see Southeast Polk last week, and they're not an 0-2 team. Jennings, even though they are, they're not a 0-2 team. Yes, they are, as the pass is incomplete. So now it'll be 4th down. So 3 and out go the Rams as they had the opportunity. Now there, drop balls is something Zelenovich talked about, is if we didn't have those drops, it's a different ball game.
Well, yeah, and, Coach Winston talked about his very quick release, and he almost released that one too quickly as the pass was just a little bit behind him.
Back to punt is Parker Drees for the Rams. He's at his own 13-yard line awaiting the snap. Good snap, low liner kick. Going to be taken, no. Getting out of the way, a little late, Austin Hinkle, but he let that one go. It's going to be downed by the Rams. Joe Ginther, the junior running back, on punt coverage, and we'll flip the field, go back to the 29. We'll go down to the sideline, and our Shield sideline report with Jim Kirby.
I don't know if you guys remember last week, number 92, Cameron Padovich, went out late in the game with, I think it was an elbow injury. He's back on the field. But that was a big loss for their defense last weekend in that loss against Waukee.
Injuries this time of year, you just don't want to get beat up. Everybody on the elite side of the state playing heavy schedules. Javon Mason, huge hole up the middle, makes one guy miss to the inside, the outside. Now it's a race to the outside. 50, 40, he's got one guy to beat. 30, 25, 20, into the end zone, it's going to go. Javon Mason, touchdown Tigers, 71 yards, Javon Mason.
That play was set up by Javon Mason, but the linemen and wide receivers getting downfield, sustaining those blocks, and then Mason doing some little bit of stutter stepping down here to allow more people to get down and get in front. Almost opened up like a highway.
Incredible play. And that's the Mason. Kind of looks like maybe another Mason that we talked about a lot on Friday nights a couple of years ago, as Cole Hahn comes on. High snap is plucked out of the night sky, put back down on the tee, and it's kicked through the upright. 7-0's our score. Valley leads. We're back in a bit on CISN TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Back at Valley Stadium, 71-yard touchdown run for Javon Mason. And it's 7-0 Valley. 14-14 is your score between Waukee and Dowling, so another good one over there. High end over end kick is going to be taken at the 10-yard line by Hauser. He's at the 15-20, makes a move and gets right back there. Let's go down to the Shield sideline, where it's always good to hear from Jim Kirby. I think you wanted to sign Mason up, didn't you there, Jim?
Oh, man, he was doing a tightrope walk down here at the sidelines, and did you see how fast John Reardon got down in front of that play? There's a lot of speed and a lot of beef there on that last play.
Well, Jim, we were talking before the game. You were like, hey, where Reardon goes, the play usually goes. That's who you look for.
Well, yeah, I mean, geez, if you're trying to figure out this Valley defense, that's a great place to start right there.
All right, it'll be 1st and 10. Jim Kirby, his sideline reports brought to you by Shields. This is my year. 7-11. Southeast Polk with the ball at their own 20. They go handoff right up the middle. And I think maybe at some point you just got to try to run the football, and that's what they do. It's not Hauser. Instead, they go with, that's Garrett Northway.
Number 8, Garrett Northway. Tackle for the Tigers by number 43, J.C. Yates. Gain of 3. Now
So a gain of 3 on the play. So that's the third Ram to run the football tonight. They go back with Northway straight up the gut, and he is met by those 30 guys, Yenser and Herrick.
Not only is Southeast Polk running a spread offense with their linemen, or their wide receivers and backs, they also have a lineman spread way out there with their H-back or wing back up there in the middle.
They go up the middle again, almost the exact same play. Ball comes out, but it's already down. They go back with Northway. This time he doesn't get anything. And it'll be 4th down. At least it's a matter if it's a punting situation. So that time the Rams try to do a little different. And it got them, well, it initially got them 8 yards, but then they lost 2. So now again to punt for the Rams is Parker Dries. He's back at his 10-yard line. Ball is dropped, timing disrupted, but still a pretty good punt. Fair catch is called and made. Austin Hinkle at midfield. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. Exceptional people and an exceptional experience for you. Always the power price. Schottenkirk Chevrolet, 755 West Hickman in Waukee. And also by Learning RX, brain training and cognitive skills testing. Helping children think, remember, read, and learn better. Learning 4949 Westtown Parkway, Suite 160 and 1205 North Ankeny Boulevard. 1st and 10 for the Tigers from the 50. At the 5:20 mark is a handoff, and it goes nowhere.
Carried by number 5, Javon Mason. Tackle for the Rams by number 11, Brandon Vasey. And number 62, Levi Brand.
Well, they tell me that we've now set a new mark here on Central Iowa Sports Network in our 4th year. We now bring you 4 live streams. This game that you're watching, Valley and Southeast Polk. You also have Waukee, Dowling, and Urbandale Johnston. And you can also watch Ankeny and Centennial. Lombardi back to pass. He's going to the second receiver. He's sending him deep, but he goes underneath. Caught at the 42-yard line. Caught by John Glenicki. And I think Glenicki's going to get a gain of 13 to move the Tigers up. Actually, a gain of 15 because it was 2nd and 12.
It's always nice to see the tight end get involved into the game, as long as it's the tight end you're rooting for. Did a nice job there, Glenicki did, at getting underneath those linebackers and sliding out to where Rocky Lombardi was rolling to.
So Valley, that last drive was 1 play and a touchdown. Now it's 2 plays, and they move the ball almost 20 yards. They go underneath to Austin Cook. And Cook, the junior, 5'11", 189-pound running back, gets up to the 35. So a lot of game has been played on this South 50, Keith. And the Tigers now send 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the top of your screen. That's Javon Mason with Cook in the backfield. They're looking right to one of those trips. They go to Marble. It says dropped. Incomplete. It would have been short of the first down. He would have needed a little bit of magic to make that happen.
You know, you talk about a lot of the game being played on this end of the field. I'm trying to figure out how we're still 4 minutes left in the first quarter. This game's been going on for almost 2 hours, and we're just still only 2/3 of the way through the first quarter.
Going down deep towards Carlo Marble. Give him a second chance. It's a touchdown. 34-yard touchdown score for Carlo Marble. How about that one? Dad, that one's for you. Touchdown, Carlo Marble.
Congrats to him. His first touchdown on the season, and it was a beaut. Great pass by Rocky Lombardi. He was feeling a little bit of pressure on that, but hung in there in the pocket and made a great throw.
34 yards right across the middle. A little different route than the time before. Lombardi's got incredible touchdown field. Showed it right there as Cole Hahn on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Matt Gusky. And the kick is up, and it's good. Valley 14, Southeast Polk nothing. We're back on CISN.TV.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Back at Valley Stadium as the high end over-end kick. Over end. Nate Murphy taken by the Rams. That's taken up to the 20-yard line. And that would be Garrett Nothaway, who we talked about. Let's go down to the Shield sideline and our favorite Jim Kirby.
Well, you couldn't have a better story. Carlo Marble dealing with the death of his father, all the distractions that are going on in his life. Having a touchdown pass, great moment here on the sidelines. I know how much he appreciates his teammates. You know, being in a routine and being around his friends during a tough time like this, it's probably the best thing for him.
And Coach asked him if he wanted to play. That's Jim Kirby down on the Shield sideline. Shields, this is my year. And Carlo said, yeah, he wanted to play. And nice way to go for him. They go Nothway off the right side, and Nothway gets outside tackle for about a yard. And a good fundamental tackle made by the Tigers. That's William Phillips. If you want to see textbook, I'm pretty sure that play would be there.
Absolutely. William Phillips is a great tackler. He's been one of our top tacklers since his freshman year. He did in his freshman year, he did in his sophomore year. Now in his junior year, he's stepping up and showing that he can still do it here.
So Nothway is the back with McLaughlin. They go Nothway up the middle, and he puts his head down. And he is tackled. Ben Campos is there.
You know, going back to that kickoff, that's the third kickoff in a row that has gone right down here to Southeast Polk's left-hand side. Put it in that corner, and it's been 3 times in a row the Tigers have held their kick return, Polk's kick return team inside the 20-yard line.
3rd and 5 from the 26. McLaughlin, play action. He's actually got some play action to go. He goes back towards the other side, wide open, caught for the Rams. Still on his feet, Jared Gulick. Look at him go, 40-35 to the 32-yard line. Huge play, and that was all set up by those simple fundamental runs up the gut by the Rams earlier.
And one of the cardinal rules for a defensive lineman, if you're moving up fast and it's moving upfield fast and it's easy, there's probably a reason why. And Southeast Polk's receiver did a great job getting out there and getting into that empty zone, but wow, it was set up by the quarterback as he just continued to fade back and hit that pass.
39-yard play, and then they come back with Hauser underneath, who gets another yard. So you set something up, consistent, a little different, and then all of a sudden that was all that play action. Looked the one way, went back the other. That was a great play call, at least by my humble opinion.
Yes, it was a great play call. And Coach Linovich has been making those great play calls for years.
He's a good offensive mind. There's no doubt about it. Played quarterback at Simpson College. I may have seen him beat my Wartburg Knights a time or two, and I'm sure he had no trouble with those Luther Norris in football, but that's another story. That time McLaughlin across the middle, too tall of a pass. He was going back down for the guy who got him this close, and that was Jared Gulick. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. And now, if you're the Rams, Keith, you don't want to try to get a field goal. You need to get a little bit closer. If you can get it even 5 yards and make it a under 40-yard field goal, you got to feel good about this. But right now, you're still a little too far. You need to get some yards. 3rd and 8.
This also becomes a very dangerous down and distance for a defense because you're anticipating exactly what you talked about. And a trick play sometimes does crazy things.
2 receivers left and right. They go Jennings out of the right side, and it's caught. He's close to the 1st down. He does get to the 25-yard line, and it is decision time for Zelenovich and the Rams. It's going to be short, but by about 1.5 yards, right up to the 25-yard line, gain of 7.
Now 4th and 2.
And I think the Rams are going to go for it. They feel they're in 4-down territory. Their kicker is Luke Williams, and he's not on the field.
Do a little hard count here.
And they're going to probably call timeout. Yeah, there you go. Hard. Good call there, Coach. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Better Business Bureau. The Better Business Bureau is the leader in marketplace trust. Before you choose to hire a business, check with the Better Business Bureau. And by Godfather's Pizza. We make pizza the way it was meant to be. Incredible crust, delicious veggies, hearty meats, and 100% cheese. It's Godfather's. 14-0 is your score here. Paul Yeager alongside Keith Bornes. Jim Kirby's down on our sideline. Let's go down to that sideline. To the guy with almost better hair than Keith. It's Jim Kirby.
Ah, shucks. Hey, going back to that completion by Thomas McLaughlin, but Dale Naba is trying to figure out how the heck McLaughlin got out of his grip. I mean, that was basically a heave that turned out really well. I mean, there could have been a lot of bad things that happened with that pass, but it ended up pretty well for the Rams.
This drive is the 7th play of that drive. Jim Kirby's reports are brought to you by Shields. This is my year. 4th and 2. And the Rams come in a very similar formation. Jennings comes to the left. Jackson Cole is on the right, and Hauser is behind McLaughlin. They're going to play action, roll the left side throw, and it's going to be caught, and it's going to be oh so close. So close. Caught Joe Ginther. And if the referee on the far sideline.
Boy, that truly is all about
first
the
down.
spot.
Oh, boy, it is. And the tackle, I believe, Eric Henning, there in the open field. Good solo one-on-one tackle. The Rams needed 2. They got 2.
And a great play on both sides of the ball. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. hitting just a little bit behind the receiver.
So now the Rams get a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 from the 23. We're under a minute to play first quarter. McLaughlin pounds his chest, changes the play, or just draws us off. They go play action, Hauser, and he just goes nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Nick Yenser was there for the Tigers.
And that's on that particular play, you can really see what Coach Linovich was talking about on their run game. They're happy with their scheme. They just need more time running.
Loss of 5 on the play. Puts the ball back at the 28-yard line. Other scores, Johnston leads Urbandale 17-0. Dowling 21, Waukee 14. Now remember, that's only Dowling's second game, so big improvement is what they're trying to make. But Waukee, no slouch. Last year, those two teams met twice, one of them at the Unidome in Cedar Falls. That is going to end the first quarter. It is going to be Valley 14, Southeast Polk nothing. We'll come back with quarter number 2 right here on CISN.TV.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we got it all.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Back at Valley Stadium, McLaughlin on the play, goes down the middle of the field, and he was almost into the end zone with Jennings, but it's incomplete. And it'll be 3rd down now for the Rams.
Now 2nd down.
As we begin quarter number 2. All sorts of stuff we have to write down here in between plays, isn't it, Keith? I'm not even sure what I'm writing. I think I'm doing calculus of some kind. Glad to have you aboard here tonight, 3:15. If it's calculus, we're all in trouble. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for McLaughlin. Empty backfield. It's not lonely for long. He's got some pressure, and it's too far of a pass in front of his receiver of Garrett Nothway, and it'll be 4th down. And now you're in a worse position than you were on 4th down to throw the ball.
Yeah, I haven't seen Polk's kicker.
To kick a field goal, I
haven't seen him kick this year. I don't know much about him. To me,
it's Luke Williams. He's 1 for 1 with a 33-yard field goal.
Yeah, I think this is almost a must to go on 4th down.
And already the Rams have used 1 timeout here in the half. And they're not going to call one now as Nothway comes in beside. 4 seconds, 3 on the play. They get it away. McLaughlin looks to the left, throws. Caught by Jennings inside the 20. Well short of the 1st down. However, it does put Valley inside the 20. And when you're talking field position, 8 yards is huge.
It is huge. And if they kick a field goal, miss it, it comes out to the 20. So they actually gained yardage on it.
So that drive goes 11 plays, but stalls out on a downs. It'll now be the Valley football. That's right, it does go out to the 20 on a missed field goal. It doesn't go like the spot of the play. So the Tigers have it on their own 17, 1st and 10, 11:43. Handoff Mason up the middle. He's got some room. And he's stopped when he gets through the line of scrimmage by Michael Traeger, the linebacker. Makes the stop. Gain of maybe 3.
I think Javon Mason is just getting more and more fun to watch. And he does remind me a lot of his brother as far as that is concerned. When Tyus was a sophomore, he was starting to get fun to watch, and then he really progressed. And then I think we're going to see that out of Javon as well.
Lombardi, deep ball downfield. It's going to be incomplete. He was looking for receiver Braden Heald, his old buddy from Cedar Rapids. And it hit the 0 of the 40 on the near sideline. Incomplete. That's a pretty looking football when it
really
releases
was.
his hand.
And it was just so nice and easily sailed down there 40 yards. 45.
Yeah, just the way you throw them.
Just about.
In practice.
Yes.
Uphill.
Both ways.
Both ways. In the snowstorm. 3rd down. Rocky chased. Can he get it away? Shuffle pass underneath. It's complete to the 30. Hinkle has it at the 40. First down, still on his feet. Makes a cutback across midfield. One more cutback, and he was almost gone for a touchdown. That is a TD-saving tackle by the Rams. Gunnar Jorgensen. Oh, wow, Hinkle.
Hinkle did a great job after he had the ball in his hand, but I was anticipating Lombardi going down. How he had the wherewithal to just get a pitch forward on that was very heads-up football.
"46-yard pickup on that play. They go back underneath with Mason. 46, yeah. All right. Mason gets the handoff up the middle. Gain of 2. So it's up to the Southeast Polk 41. Welcome to those of you listening on 1350 AM ESPN in Des Moines, and also on the Des Moines Register and High School Insider. You're watching CISN.TV. Glad to have you aboard here tonight. Paul Yeager alongside Keith Bornes and Jim Kirby. Rocky Lombardi underneath Carlo Marble. Oh, incomplete. He knew it. He knew it. That was almost 6 more. Marble already with 1 score tonight, a 34-yard score. Valley scored on another big play, a 71-yard touchdown run to Javon Mason. We're at the 10:08 mark here in the second quarter. It's Valley 14, Southeast Polk 0. So the ball will be at the 41-yard line. Rocky sends 2 receivers left, and he gets Cook to his left. They go to that left side. Hinkle caught at the 40, dances. Hinkle makes one guy move, but he was not, and I repeat, not going to make Levi Brand miss. Good play by Brand.
Brand is one of those guys that has certainly made a name for himself on that defensive side of the ball and knows how to finish a tackle.
4th down. What do you got dialed up here? You're on the north 40. 4th and 7. 20 seconds on the play clock, all the time in the world.
Well, you know, Mr. Fake, Coach Swenson, yeah, a little surprised that he's going for on this 4th down, but
3 receivers right, caught at
why
the
not?
25, and it's going to be a touchdown. Race to the end zone. 10-5 score for the Tigers.
And maybe Valley has a few receivers of their own. That is Heald's first touchdown of the year.
Braden Heald, the 40-yard touchdown strike on 4th and 7. Oh, wow.
I wonder how Aunt Cheryl felt about that one. To go for it on 4th down.
And it did. There was no panic
yes,
anywhere.
There really wasn't.
Right on the nose. You're looking Marble. They went Heald the whole way. On to attempt the extra point is Cole Hahn. He puts it through the uprights. It's 21 for Valley, 0 for Southeast Polk. Back in a moment here on CISN.TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
we're the Waters boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Six plays, 83 yards go the Valley Tigers. They put it into the end zone, and a Cole Haan extra point makes it 21-0. Braden Heald, the 40-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 7, Keith. 4th and 7 from Coach Gary Swenson. I think he's trying to send a message that, hey, this ain't the old Gary Swenson that wouldn't go for it on 4th down. Murphy gets a kick into it, and it's going to bounce in front of Jennings, and he's got to chase after. It's a live football, taken at the 2. He's got up the middle. That could disrupt some timing. Jennings' window is going to shut in a hurry. He is not going to get past the 5. Special teams play downfield. Nate Yenser, also Ben Campos. We need to go down to the star of our broadcast. That's Jim Kirby. Jim?
Well, this game is turning into the Rocky Horror Show for the Southeast Polk Rams. I mean, this is exactly what you don't want to have happen. Rocky Lombardi getting a lot of confidence. Javon Mason getting a lot of confidence. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Rams the rest of the way.
Jim's reports are brought to you by Shields. This is my year. The Rams, huge uphill battle right now. 96 yards to go to the house. They have it 1st and 10 from the shadow of their own end zone. They got to defend. If they got to just make some move to flip the field just a tiny little bit. McLaughlin goes in the middle to Hauser, and he gets nothing. First, there to make the stop, J.C. Yates, and then the exclamation mark is put on by Nick Yenser. So Hauser gets 1. And that's being, no, he's going to say he lost 1. Tough sledding for Cole Hauser. You can't be too tricky down here, can you, Keith?
It's a dangerous part of the field for both sides of the ball. You're trying to go after that safety, and you don't want to give up a big play. Yeah, now it's going to be 3rd and long. Everybody's starting to relax a little bit. You never know what happens.
Now 3rd and 11.
They throw that pass. Onto that left side, and McLaughlin now has a 3rd and 11. Looks to that sideline. The Rams have been close a couple of times tonight. Getting it inside, and now I think, is that going to be, whistle comes from the near side. But no penalty flag. This broadcast brought to you by Atlantic Bottlers, distributors of Core Power, a natural high-protein drink. Gatorade hydrates better than water, and Dasani Water, the pure, delicious taste of Dasani Water. Atlantic Bottlers in Waukee, Iowa. McLaughlin, 3rd and 11, fakes it to Hauser, then gives it back to him. I thought he was going to pull it out, and Hauser, I think they're just trying to play it safe. They go up the middle, get a... I think he got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
On that last whistle, they had spotted the ball wrong, and the near side referee was able to get a remark on that.
Now this is going to be huge. Parker Dries is absolutely, in fact, the shadow of the goalpost is deeper in the field than he is. He is standing in front of that yellow line where it's orange right behind him. It's not even really a full extension of this play. Tigers can get really good field position here. Dries gets his leg into it. It's a liner. It's going to bounce and then take a Tiger bounce at the 35. That ball was going to maybe skip by Javon Mason and take a Ram roll, but instead it took a Tiger hop. And huge advantage Tigers right now. They're going to take over on the 35-yard line.
I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I was a little bit disappointed that Valley did not try and get a return on that. Nobody seems to remember the first touching rule. And the first touching rule, when the punting team punts the ball down the field and it hits one of their coverage people first, the absolute worst that can happen is it's the opposing team's ball right there. And they just hit the ball, never covered it up. Valley could have recovered that, moved it downfield. worst thing happens, it goes back to the original spot of the first touch.
Cal Lortscher and Michael Traeger combined to keep Mason from going any further. And like I say, he got to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. So if you touch the ball, explain that to me. After this play, I'm going to need another explanation of that here, Coach. 2nd and 10, 7:05 to play. Now back in the shotgun is Rocky. Looks right, now he's flushed. He's going to throw it deep into the end zone. Wide open! Touchdown again! It's Javon Mason! He was all alone.
35-yard play.
But don't celebrate and shoot off the cannons just yet. They're huddled. Those referees are huddled. Holding on the defense will be declined, and it will stand.
Penalty against the Rams is declined. The touchdown stand.
35-yard touchdown pass. And this one is quickly turned in to a laugher. Not what I expected.
I don't think it's what anybody expected.
Valley is hitting on all cylinders tonight. Everything is going their way. Cole Haan on to attempt the extra point. Puts the Tigers up 28-0 here. 6:56 mark when we come back. It's Valley and Southeast Polk on CISN.TV.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Action! Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas.
Cut!
What?
Action!
We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on.
Cut! Action!
Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need
Cut!
you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Urbandale.
Javon Mason with his 2nd touchdown of the night puts the Tigers up 28-0 as Murphy's kick is taken by the Rams at the 15 by Jennings. He's up to the 20. Oh, he had a seam for just a moment, and then that collapsed. Ben Campos made sure he went no further than the 21-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline on the Shield sideline. This is my year. This is our Jim Kirby.
Well, that's just too easy, guys. I mean, for the Valley offense, Rocky Lombardi's standing back there, and there's a wide open Javon Mason. That had to have been a blown coverage. You just can't let that guy out of your sight. He was too open for that pass.
And, you know, talk about the discipline there, Jim. I mean, they're easily could have been downfield, but the lineman stayed home.
Right, and you're talking about hitting on all cylinders, offensively and defensively. It's all coming together for the Tigers.
They lead 28-0. That's Jim Kirby down on our sideline tonight. Coming up at halftime, he'll be getting a talk with Gary Swenson as he heads into the locker room, and we'll talk to Brad Zelenovich as well. Here comes the blitz. Hauser gets it on the swing out in the flat, and then he doesn't get anywhere. The ball comes out. Ball is loose. They're going to say it's down, though, back at the 21. And that would have been ugly in a hurry. Pete Economos. Petey. Is that what he's called? That's what Coach called him earlier. Did you call him that?
I did not. I called him a lot of things, but I never called him Petey.
Did you call him late for dinner? So gain of a yard. So Hauser trying to get him into the flow. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. And now Nothway will come up and stand by McLaughlin. Here goes Jennings in motion. They give it to him the reverse. They go to the reverse. It's Jackson Cole. Good block downfield. He's at the 30 up to the 33-yard line. So if it doesn't work traditionally, let's go to the trickery, and that gets you the first down, give you a little confidence, and your defense a break. Up to the 33-yard line.
Absolutely. A great job setting that up. And Valley, a shame on the defensive end on this side. Everybody got sucked in going that direction, and we forgot to set the edge on the backside.
It's that sweep, jet sweep play that you want to call. And just you can always run a different play off of it. They go Nothway off the left side. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and then it's Dawson Edwards. And Yenser, of course. And Campos.
The defense.
Ben is smaller than his brother.
He is.
But I'm not saying he's no worse of a football player.
Well, you know.
Jake was a lineman, offensive lineman in college.
Yes. And, you know, they are different body styles. You look at Jake, he'll be playing tomorrow, and he's over 300 pounds and doesn't look it. But I guess that's what happens when you're 6'7" or 6'8".
They get it out to Nothway on the screen, up to the 40. He's got room, 50. Ball comes out as he hits the ground. They're going to say it's down up to midfield. Gain of almost 17 yards to the 49 into Tiger territory. So another first down for the Rams, starting to click a little bit. They're going to put it at the 50, so gain make that 16 as they go up front to Jackson, or that was Nothway.
Coach Cooley put in a new defensive line. He's been doing a great job of subbing those middle three down linemen all night and actually all year, getting everybody plenty of rest.
Fifth play of the drive. McLaughlin looks to the right. Now he's going to tuck it and run it. He's got 5 and 6 yards before coming up. Tristan Cobb to make the stop. But if your quarterback can run it too, that also is another weapon. They're going to give him 6.
That was a nice double leg takedown by Cobb. And you know, you got to have a little bit of pride knowing that you just took somebody from Southeast Polk down. That doesn't happen very often in the wrestling room.
Or at the state tournament. Or anywhere for that matter. Yeah. McLaughlin spins it around, throws it downfield. He's got a man off the fingertips. Parker Dries was there. Just a little too hard, and it'll be 3rd and short. 3:51 to go here, second quarter.
William Phillips on the coverage there. Blanketed pretty good. Maybe needs to get into a better trail position than that one was.
This broadcast brought to you by Bob Oliver Heating and Cooling. Our goal is to deliver the best customer services with over 20 years and 4 generations of professional service. Bob Oliver Heating and Cooling, 115 12th Street in West Des Moines. McLaughlin looks to the right, throws, goes deep, and no chance. Jennings got tied up there. William Phillips kind of bumped him, and it'll be 4th down. So all of a sudden, I think you got to go for it, don't you? You punt him deep, maybe.
On the last couple of drives, it didn't matter how long the football field was. So, yeah, you're not hurting anything by going for it. That's one more time that Valley's offense is not on the field.
Well, and if you're Southeast Polk, you're going to run a little time. They will call timeout. We'll take one as well. Valley leads Southeast Polk 28-0. Back in a moment here on CISN.TV.
Action! Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas.
Cut!
What?
Action!
We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on.
Cut! Action!
Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Irvine.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Under the Friday night lights at Valley Stadium, Paul Yeager alongside Keith Bornas. Jim Kirby with you here. Valley 28, Southeast Polk nothing. look at some other scores on the network tonight on CISN.TV. Dowling leads Waukee at half, 28-14, and Johnston 17, Urbandale nothing. So not a lot of close games tonight. We had close games last week. I guess we got those out of the way, Keith. 4th down for the Rams. McLaughlin rolls, throws, intercepted, picked off by the Tigers. And that's Nick Yenser, and he returns it into Tiger territory up to the 49-yard line. And, well, you actually lost yardage by going forward on 4th down. Jim Kirby, what's going on down there?
Well, I'll tell you what, Thomas McLaughlin, a couple plays back, took a big hit by number 59, Joel Alexander for Valley. He was a little gimpy on his, looked like his right foot. Maybe perhaps that had something to do with the way he threw that pass. But, man, just all kinds of things going wrong for the Southeast Polk Rams, and all kinds of things going right for the Valley Tigers.
Ball's at the 49-yard line. Jim Kirby brought to you by Shields. This is my year. They've scored on every possession. They're 4 of 4. Will it be 5 of 5? Mason gets it and runs for the edge. He cuts it back up the middle, and the ball nearly comes out, but he pulls it back in quickly. As coming up to make the tackle, Michael Traeger and also Bradley Van Heeswick. Gain of 7.
John Reardon, again, downfield, making a great block. He might have more rushing yards than Mason does, actually, tonight, as he is just all over the field.
3 receivers to the right. Rocky in the shotgun. He's trying to get Cook to move. Cook's not paying any attention. Timeout. I don't know if the timeout came before the penalty or not. Coach Swenson clearly not happy on that one. You can hear the scoff from up here. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Shields Sporting Goods at 101 Jordan Creek Parkway, Jordan Creek Mall, equipment and apparel for all of your sporting adventures, and by CenturyLink, the official internet provider of CISN.TV. Act fast and download even faster CenturyLink. Paul Yeager, Keith Bornes, Jim Kirby, the entire CISN.TV crew here at Valley Stadium. 3:01 to play in the first half. Valley 28, Southeast Polk nothing. And Keith, this is a game where Valley just, all they've done is score, and all Southeast Polk has done is not.
You know, I asked a couple of the Valley players what they felt was a tradition here at Valley that made Valley, their offense and defense really work. And Rocky Lombardi said there are 3 things that he felt traditionally makes Valley go. Number 1, the hard work of the players. Number 2, the coaching staff. And number 3, John Reardon.
Well, Reardon is a man among boys as the Tigers go for it. They swing it to Cook out of the backfield. He spends a lot of energy just to get the ball. Penalty flag comes down back behind the line of scrimmage, and we also have a ram down at midfield, or at least at the 45. And I can't tell if that's a stinger or just pounding the ground.
Hunter Sailors. Also on the tackle, number 13, Cody Wonderland.
As the Rams will huddle back up, so we get a look at that downed Ram. Dowling leads Urbandale 28-14, Johnston 17, Urbandale nothing. Those games also on CISN.TV. Next week, it's the big kahuna. It's Valley and Dowling. This game will be live from Drake Stadium. It's a home game for the Maroons, the defending champions in Class 4A, 2-time defending champs. And will this be year 3? They are reloading from all accounts. Mark Amadeo and Debar Coulier, Brian Morris, and I'll have that call. I'll be on the sideline. Brian will be on the Dowling sideline. I'll be on the Valley sideline reporting for you next week. So we'll pull out all the stops. We know that's a big one. That's also a rivalry game. We'll have some extra attention, an extra crew helping us out with that game, and an extra exposure, as we're also getting that tonight on 1350 AM ESPN in Des Moines. And also the Des Moines Register. Glad to have you watching. Let us know at CISN TV where you're watching tonight. Love to hear from you, wherever you may be. I think we're going to We're going to go ahead and take a quick timeout here as the Ram is attended to. We'll take a break. Valley leads Southeast Polk 28-0 here on CISN.TV. No, yep, we'll take a break.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Braden Vasey is being taken off the field by the training staff for the Rams. Vasey is a defensive lineman. He is a senior, and he is hopping on the right and looking at the left, and I got a bad feeling, Jim Kirby. He kind of knows what just happened.
Yeah, right away it looked like a knee when he went down. Walking real gingerly, not putting any weight on that left side. It just doesn't look good for Braden.
So Vasey goes out. Next man in for the Tigers, for the Rams, 2nd and 15. Underneath, it's thrown to Hinkle now out in the flats of the 50. Puts a move up to the 40. Hinkle's dance moves gets him 10 yards alone. He's close to a first down. He'll be short by about half a yard. Wow.
He is really starting to come into his own as a football player. And, I ran into his brother Tanner not too long ago, and we were talking about Austin's work on the field. And he, too, is impressed with some of the things that Austin is doing.
Where'd Tanner end up going?
The University of Iowa.
All right, Hawks tomorrow and the Cyclones. Rocky with time, flushed out to the near side. He's going to tuck it. No, yeah, he will tuck it. Put a shoulder down. He doesn't do that very often. As Michael Traeger comes up to make the stop for the Rams. I'm not sure if you want Rocky to run. You think of Ryan Boyle for the Maroons the last few years. He clearly ran, and now an Iowa Hawkeye. Running was part of his game. Not always in the play call.
Right.
For Rocky.
When we have clearly a pocket passer, somebody who is very athletic, he's used to contact, he's a very good wrestler, but you don't want your quarterback just running down the field and exposing himself to some of those big hits that could happen.
Heald catches it at the 30, and then coming up to make, and they're going to call that probably a penalty. Hinkle came up to make a block, and then there was a penalty flag that came from that back judge. I'm going to say maybe Hinkle didn't quite have his head in the right spot. It was a nice, I don't know what you call that, the crack back block.
Well, when you have a crack back block, you have to make sure that they are facing toward you. It could either end up being a block in the back like it was, or they can also call it one of those targeting blocks because they're not ready to go. The defense is not prepared. It's a defenseless player when they're not facing you and getting an opportunity to prepare themselves for the hit.
Matt Ide is the referee, the umpire Jeff Brundage, Tim Stiles and Matt Stiles. Greg Hansen also on the crew tonight are the guys in stripes. 1st and 10. Actually make that a 1st and 8 as the ball's at the 34. That's really where it should be. Yeah, 36, not the 34. All right. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. That's Marble. Lombardi looks to the left, throws it downfield. He's got Hinkle. Caught at the 10, 5, touchdown. Another touchdown for Austin Hinkle. And the Tigers have opened up a can.
It just doesn't seem right that a wide receiver can find himself that open that many times. He's really running great routes, because I wouldn't say that Southeast Polk is a bad football team. Obviously, we're catching them at a tough spot on a tough night, but man, Valley is really rolling right now.
Cole Hahn on to attempt the extra point. High snap, gets it down. Matt Gusky He jumped out of his sneakers to get that one to put it back down for Cole Haan, and he bats it through. 35-0 Valley with the lead. We're back in a moment on CISN.TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game.
Murphy's kick is high, end over end, taken at the 15-yard line by the Rams. A lot of white jerseys there trying to make some room for Jackson Cole. He gets up to the 25. We go down to the sideline. And Jim Kirby.
Hey, number 15, Matt Gusky, is the holder for those field goals and extra points. That's like the third high snap he's had to go up and get. His brother Jason, if you remember, was a great track star for Valley, went on to UNI and just graduated this year. But Matt Gusky is earning his money today.
You know, Gusky's been holding since his freshman year, and he's one of those kids that took a little while to hit his growth spurt. When he was 4 feet tall as a freshman, he certainly earned everything for us when he was that holder, and now he's coming into a pretty good job of being a football player.
McLaughlin goes to Hauser up the middle and nowhere to go as Austin Stotts makes the stop. Maybe a gain of yard. Cole Hauser, tough sledding tonight.
Valley's interior defensive line, you know, anchored by Badal Nabe. It's not just tough for him to get in there. It's tough for a lot of teams to run up in there.
You're watching Valley and Southeast Polk. We also have Waukee hosting Dowling and Johnston hosting Urbandale tonight on CISN TV. High snap, McLaughlin takes it and then gets up close to the 31-yard line before Tristan Cobb makes the stop. Gain of 5 on the play. Ball gets up to the 31 and a half. It'll be 3rd and 3. Long 3. 2 receivers to the right, and actually make it 3. As they got Parker Dries there, but they're going to pull it out with Hauser. McLaughlin was going to run it on a boot to the other side. Austin Stotts had none of it and makes the stop behind the line of scrimmage, sacks the quarterback. Back all the way to the 28-yard line. It'll be 4th down again. I think we just said that. Loss of 3. Coming up at halftime, which is in a second.
And that's the end of the half, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll get Jim Kirby and Gary Swenson for this interview in just a moment. Here is Valley leads Southeast Polk 35-0. This is CISN TV. Let's go down to the field.
Coach, everything's working on all cylinders. I mean, what do you tell your guys? Everything you do, you're doing well.
Well, I mean, you got to keep playing. We've hit some big plays. I think I'd like to run the ball better. Rocky has been accurate deep, and we've converted some big plays. Those aren't always there every Friday night. So we'd like to, but hey, that's not a bad football team. We're up 35-0. It's pretty hard to complain about anything right now.
Coach, before the game, you said something about trying to figure out who you are as a team. Do you have a better idea now?
I'm not sure. I think our defense has been sound out here. I think offensively, for the first time this year, we've shown some big play strike capability. That's good. You always are looking for that. And then if we can just, combine that with some consistency, we'll be a real hard football team to beat.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
Gary Swenson and Jim Kirby brought to you on the sideline. Shields, this is my year. Paul Yeager alongside Keith Bornes here. 35-0 is your halftime score as the dance team does a quick number. You'll take a look at them as Keith and I fill you in about what just happened on that first half. Started with a 71-yard run by Javon Mason. That seems like an eternity ago. Back in that first quarter,
Yes.
34-yard pass to Carlo Marble, a 40-yard touchdown pass to Braden Heald, and then a 35-yard pass to Mason to make it 28-0, then 35-0 after a 36-yard touchdown pass to Austin Hinkle. Big drives, big plays for the Tigers.
Yeah, you know, I like what Coach Swenson was talking about. He's always been very run-oriented, and he said he wants to run the ball more, but it's great to see that we have big play potential. The great part about having a big play offense, you got big plays, you can get some scores. The tough thing about it is that puts your defense on the field for an awful long time. And so when you can control the ball, the line of scrimmage on your offensive side and just steadily move down the field. We've talked about it year in and year out, week in and week out, about long, sustained drives. And Valley just hasn't really had the long, sustained drives this year.
All right, well, they have scored, though, a bunch of times. They lead 35-0. When we come back, we're going to talk volleyball at Valley High School. You're watching CISN.TV. Glad to have you here. Halftime festivities begin after this. You're watching Central Iowa Sports Network.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Tonight's halftime brought to you by Powerade. Give your game some flavor. We're at halftime. Valley leads Southeast Polk 35-0. Paul Yeager alongside with Matt Ross, the assistant volleyball coach. He's got a couple of players with him here in a little bit. We'll let them talk. They have no idea what we're going to ask them, Coach, so we'll just ask them some really hard questions. But first, Coach, you're just down the hall during the games. Tell me what you do during a football game as opposed to a volleyball game.
Well, actually, it's my my first time here, and I'm in charge of that 25-second clock out there. It's as I'm learning, it's a very important job, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at it. So
They're all looking at, okay, what do you do during a, what's different from you than what you do in a volleyball game then as you're an assistant?
Not much. No, I don't know. I get to help out under the tutelage of our head coach, Jeremy Mikesel, and get to work with an awesome, talented group of girls, and lots of reps with lots of stuff, skill training, all that stuff, lots of competition. And well, one of the cool things we do on Fridays is we pull all of our kids, ninth graders, 10th graders, our JV and our varsity team, and we scrimmage every Friday. Everyone plays. 9th grade plays varsity. Varsity plays 10th grade. 9th grade plays JV. Everyone plays against each other. It's actually a a really cool environment in that gym, in the field house there.
And it's kind of fun to do something different on Friday. Usually you might have a tournament that next day. You got to do something to kind of keep them loose.
Yeah, it is. It's just a, like I said, really just a fun environment. Having every age group there and competing against each other. And I'm pretty sure that our freshman squad has given us a run for our money a couple times too. So it's really positive for the future. So.
All right, well, it feels a little strange here. Who do we have between us? Who'd you bring with you?
We have Ellie Kellner, and she's a senior.
All right, Ellie, hello.
Hi.
All right, so that's Ellie.
And then behind her is Hannah Locken, our setter, and one of our setters, and a junior this year.
Hannah, if you're the setter and you're that tall, I can't imagine what the hitters are like.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
All right, Ellie, tell me what's it like to be a senior finally?
Like volleyball-wise, or just
in volleyball-wise first.
Volleyball-wise, like I feel like I can step up as a leader more, and it's cool to have like no one else in front of me really stopping me, I guess.
And does it feel like it's your time? It's you got to go now, or there's no looking back?
Yeah, I feel like we got to use the most out of every opportunity we get, otherwise it's a waste.
I saw Valley in the newspaper in a couple of games already. Tell me how it's gone so far.
So far, it's been pretty good. We've had our ups and downs, but I mean, we've had a lot of good competition, which is really cool to have this early in the season.
Who'd you play?
We've played Dowling, Ankeny Centennial.
Just those two, right?
Well, we played a lot of people.
I know.
Cedar Rapids, Kennedy, Ankeny, number 4 and 4A Harlan. Well, they were 4.
Because of the 5 classes, sure.
And then we play number 1 and 3A Nevada tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, Southeast Polk.
And that's at the Southeast Polk tournament. So are you gonna sleep at all before that game, or are you one of those that doesn't sleep before a game?
Oh yeah, definitely gonna go home and get some sleep for sure.
All right. So an 8 a.m. game, which means you got to leave the school at probably what, 6? Is that about right?
6:45 tomorrow morning.
Oh, they're going easy on you.
Yeah, kind of.
If that's a big tournament tomorrow, who's all at that tournament?
Yeah, there's a lot of smaller schools, but there's also some big ones. I think. I know we're playing Nevada first, and then possibly Pella, and I know Eddyville is there. And then for bigger schools, I think Johnston is there, and us, and so it's a lot of good competition from all the classes.
Nevada won the state basketball championship, second in soccer, so you know they're full of good athletes, right? You can't be asleep at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Right, yeah, that's part of the sleep. Got to go get some sleep so that we can come out and take our pool and do really well.
What's fun about volleyball for you?
I like all the competition, but then I also like how it's a team sport and how we're all working together to accomplish the same goal. And now, like, the pressure's not on one particular person, but we're all together as a team.
What is that team goal? Is it something about getting to Cedar Rapids and playing on that Friday morning?
Yeah, our team goal is to, once we make it to state, which is our first goal, to then win state.
So if you make it to state, finals will be on Iowa Public Television, statewide audience. That'd be kind of fun. Have you watched it before and said, we're going to be there next year?
Yep, we've watched that the past couple of years, and this is the year that we want to take it.
All right, so Coach, what's it going to take to get there then? What do you think is what's been impeding here in the last couple of years? You know Centennial was good. Jaylee Winters, she's not playing anymore. So you know 5A makes it open.
Her sister is.
And her sister's pretty good too.
Yes. Actually, we were just talking about this. There's a lot of parity in 5A this year. Iowa City High, who started the season at number 1, is now ranked number 11 after a couple losses. The only undefeated 5A team that I know of left is Cedar Falls, and they're number 1 now. So Marshalltown is coming up, and they just entered the rankings this weekend. This week is, I don't know. It's a little. There's just a lot of. There's a wealth of talent in 5A, and I think it's the team that grows, that progresses the most, because so much talent. It's the team that's going to, I think, come together, and the team that's going to play as one unit. And I don't know. I like our odds. Yeah.
That's all right. Well, what are your? I want to put you on the spot. What's on the team? I know that's exactly why I wanted to do it. What's on the team shirt? What's the team motto this year? See, is there a motto? Is there one? No motto. So one, you want to get one. The number 1 goal is to get to state and win it.
Yeah, that's the goal. I don't know. We don't really have a team motto to get there, but that is our goal.
What is it? Tell me about the other seniors on the team that are with you.
Well, we all work really well together, and we're all really close as friends, and like we hang out outside of volleyball too, which is really cool, and it builds a lot of team chemistry, and I feel like we have a lot of good leadership that we can lead all the younger underclassmen.
And what are the names of the rest of those seniors?
Mandy Remick, Maddie Dahl, Miranda Johnson, Natalie Sanders, and yeah, that's it.
All right, and so then who are the...
Ty Doobie.
I knew the minute we would start doing that. All right, tell me, now you got to help us out. Who are the juniors on the team?
The juniors are myself and Maddie Heinen and Bailey Ketcher and Abby Keegan, Allison Hussey, and I think that's it.
All right, and then you've got some sophomores or freshmen playing with you this year?
Oh gosh, we have Taylor Guion, Ronnie. Wait, what's Ronnie's last name? Okay, Stephanie Twit, and I think that's it, right? Just 3?
I should make Coach do those, put those on the spot, right? I know you're doing great. All right, so you're dressed in, do you just wear this all the time, or what's up? What's the get up with the overall?
Well, not all the seniors. A lot of the seniors wear these to, I don't know, support the team, I guess.
So is it a senior thing to wear the overalls? You can't wear them until you're a senior?
Yeah.
So it's an honor to be there.
Yeah.
All right, so what are the juniors? What do they get stuck? Just beads and jeans or what?
Yeah, you just wear whatever's left. Next year, though.
I do like how every school, if I look across, I don't see many of the overalls, but that's kind of a fun thing in the CIML. You see those schools, you don't see many of them over there, but we see the band finishing up, and we'll leave you with this. The next game is tomorrow. When's the next home game, Coach?
22nd. Is it the 22nd? Great. 22nd, and is that... Oh, it's Fort Dodge. Yeah.
And that's, you play in the main gym there at Valley High School, right?
Yeah, at the field house, yep. JV and sophomores before us, and then we get on at 7:30. Should be, hopefully, I would love to see just a ton of fans there, because these guys, ask Bornis when you get back on with them, these guys are fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
He says it all the time, though.
Right? Hey.
I should ask, do any of you run track? Because Coach Bornis needs some more track runners. No?
Sorry, I can't run.
But he'll take all comers. He'll turn you into a track runner. Is that right? No?
No, I don't know.
All right, Ellie. All right, fine. All right, very good. That's the Valley volleyball team. They play tomorrow at 8 a.m. against Nevada and the Southeast Polk tournament. I'd like to thank them for joining us and let them get back to their halftime. We'll take a break here. Valley leads Southeast Polk 35-0. This is CISN.TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
To everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas.
Cut!
What?
Action!
We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on.
Cut! Action!
Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Urbandale.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we got it all.
We're at halftime, and tonight's halftime is brought to you by Powerade. Give your game some flavor. It's Valley 35, Southeast Polk nothing. Paul Yeager alongside Keith Bornes and Jim Kirby down on our sideline. And are they fun to watch, those volleyball girls?
Yes, they are. They have a very unique team this year. It almost looks like most of them should be on the cover of Muscle and Fitness. They're very athletic. We have several girls that just seem like they can jump out of the gym, and when they have the confidence to play the way their talent looks, they really have a chance to do some nice things this year. I went up to the Valley tournament and watched them play up there. They did a great job. I was glad to see their cohesiveness is what really impressed me by them. They got a freshman that is up playing with them right now, and she just can jump out of the gym. It's fantastic. We're going to try and recruit her for a little track.
There you go. And you'll take, all athletes can benefit from running track.
Absolutely they can.
I could benefit from running track again, maybe.
And, yes, myself as well.
I'd still lose to probably, I think, everyone on your team. We're at halftime. Valley 35, Southeast Polk nothing. In a moment, we'll have Jim Kirby catch up with head coach Brad Zelenovich. He is standing by, and pardon me for looking. Sometimes physically I have to turn around and see things. And because we didn't set that mirror up here. But if you did look in the mirror and you're Southeast Polk, you kind of got to be looking at yourself going, we are not playing the way we did in the first 2 weeks. And you got to get some of that back. And now you're going to be facing an uphill battle. You got a continuous clock in that second half.
You do. But Southeast Polk hasn't looked bad.
No. Valley's just looked outstanding tonight. Polk is converted on fourth down. They've converted on third down. They've made big plays. They've gotten some things going their way. It's just Valley tonight is just outstanding.
Right. They're long drives. They have put together several long drives, and it's been fun to watch that. When they're on, they're on. The problem that they faced, they just haven't finished a drive. And so when they start doing that, we're certainly, anybody they play is going to have to be watching out.
We all have to be watching. And Javon Mason tonight, he looks like a different runner than what he did in that week one. I did not see him against Iowa City West, and you saw the tape, but he looks like a different runner than he did against Waukee. He is going to be a handful for anybody to handle the rest of the year.
He is.
And his career, he's only a sophomore.
Right. He came in with 304 yards rushing. That should have been another 30 yards on that. There was a really long touchdown run that he had, and the official, I don't disagree with officials very often, but I did on this particular call. It would happen right in front of me. He said he stepped out of bounds. I didn't see it. It took 30 yards off of his totals. So
we're going to have to start looking here soon enough to find out what the career stats between the two brothers are going to be.
Well, yes.
All right, Jim Kirby is on our sideline. He's standing with head coach Brad Zelenovich of Southeast Polk.
Coach, a tough first half. What do you tell your team at halftime?
Tough. We just, got to come out and compete in the second half. We'll see what type of guys we got, and not playing for some pride right now.
Braden Vasey, what's the report on him?
Not sure. Looked like a lower leg. Haven't got the report yet.
Good luck, Coach.
Brad Zelenovich, coach of the Southeast Polk Rams, as the Rams come back out, as do the Tigers, to go through their pre-second half stretching, and we are going to take a little bit of a stretch and come back as we get you ready for half number 2. I want to let you know that this halftime is brought to you by Powerade, and give your game some flavor. Talk to us online at CISN TV. Tweet at us. Tell us where you're watching tonight, or hit us up on the Facebook page at Central Iowa Sports Network or CISN TV. Glad to have you here. This is the Central Iowa Sports Network. Half number 2 between Valley and Southeast Polk coming your way right after this.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Oh, it's a darn good thing you can't hear in between those breaks. I gotta say, I like the Katy Perry tune now and again, and it's a good one. Gonna hear me roar, and the Tigers will get the ball to start the second half, and they do lead 35-0 here at Valley Stadium. This one has not been close, and it's, statistic-wise, there have been some big plays. I mean, even if you just add up rushing for Mason, he's over 100 yards. And passing, if you add up passing yards, just on the touchdowns alone, Keith, 74, another 104, another 36. So he's easily got to be 200 yards.
And
that's just a rough estimate at this point.
Right, and it's certainly unofficial. But he came in tonight number 6 in Valley history in career passing yards at 2,417 yards. He's got to get to 2778 to pass Chad Griffith for number 5. Just in case anybody was wondering, Chad Noyes has the all-time career passing record at 3,637 yards. That was back in 1986 to 1988. I would say Rocky is certainly on his way.
Well, and he's got another year to play.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not saying he's going to declare early for the draft or anything like that. But, injuries can happen or whatever circumstances happen. I mean, we know his father is a football coach and they could move. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, that's a possibility. And anybody could move. Javon Mason family could, have a situation. I'm not saying specifically just there on Rocky, but he could when when we talk about Valley, you don't think of them as a passing team. They've been, they're not always 3 yards in a cloud of dust either. They're just a team that they can just do a lot of things well. But now they are almost not strictly passing. Coming into the game, they're almost even at passing. They had 338 yards passing to 493 rushing. So a very even approach as getting the ball to start it is Javon Mason. He's at 30-35 up to the 37-yard line before the tackle is made by Southeast Polk's Michael Altus. Let's go down sidelines one more time to begin with Jim Kirby, brought to you by Shields. This is my year.
I was talking to defensive line coach Tony Sharada for the Valley Tigers, and he was talking about the progression of his defensive line. He was talking about last weekend a couple of big 4th-and-1 stuffs for the defensive line. He's terribly excited about the way they're playing together and just the progression that they've made just between these last 2 games.
Let's see what their progression is right now as they start on their own 37-yard line as they line up on a tight formation, and under center as Lombardi goes to Mason. Off left tackle, he escapes one for about half a yard, but Griffin Vesley wrapped up Mason. No gain, 11 minutes to play here, 35-0.
Actually a pretty generous spot, gave him 2 yards on that.
To the 39, so gain of 2 for Mason. Wow, I didn't think he got that. You're right, Keith. Other games tonight on CISN.TV. It's Urbandale at Johnston, Waukee hosting Dowling, and also Centennial and Ankeny. Back to pass Lombardi, a lot of time. Here comes some pressure from the middle. Here comes a flag. Rocky is going to just tuck it, and maybe he does get back to the line of scrimmage, but I'm pretty sure it's all for naught. As we try to check some of those other scores, we will let you know. And you can, as I said. Coach Hughes, thanks for the tweet there, watching, seeing the volleyball team. Glad to have them on board and watching as they have their tournament tomorrow at Southeast Polk, playing a good Nevada squad. Tell you what, Nevada was fun to watch at the state basketball tournament. I saw them a couple of times in the regular season and then saw them the week of the state girls basketball tournament, and just a lot of athletes there. And if I remember correctly, one of their best players was just a freshman as well. And a lot of talent there coming up. So the penalty does go against Valley, goes all the way back to the 20, so that's a 29-yard penalty. As Rocky's going to go flush, and he has a whole bunch of room. He's at the 30, 35, puts a move on 40, 43-yard line, and it'll be third down and almost short compared to the 2nd and 27 that they just had. Run by Lombardi, gets 22 yards back.
Running a continuous clock right now, the game could shorten up here pretty quick.
Ankeny leads Centennial 24-16 with 4:49 to go. Listen to that game with Tony Izzetti and Benny Carroll on our audio stream tonight. First pass from Rocky of the second half is incomplete. It will be 4th down. The Tigers are going to be into a punting situation.
Is this the first time we've seen Peyton Long come
Yeah,
out?
this is the first punt. Yeah, I mean, Valley was 5 of 5 in scoring. And that's without using a defensive score. I mean, they had and remember, well, you got to think about the penalty, or not the penalty, the fumble.
Yes.
Valley was driving inside the 20.
And
the
lost
ball
the
went
fumble.
off the hands, lost the fumble. As Peyton Long straight up, and not the greatest of kicks, but bounces, and it does take a tiny bit of a Tiger roll up to about the 39-yard line. That'll be where the Tigers will come to defense. The Rams will have their first offensive opportunity, and Jim Kirby has a chance to inform us with some other stuff.
Hey guys, I'm watching Rocky Lombardi's footwork. You know, he just seems to be gliding. You know, we know he worked on a lot of that stuff in off season, but he's really a commanding, you know, this offense and just his play. He's just making things look so easy and so smooth.
Gliding, like Fred Astaire?
Well,
That's right.
You track guys, you look at that footwork business, and you're really good at knowing this. Hauser takes it up to the 40, gets a tough yard, right? I mean, Jim, you look at footwork a lot.
We look at smooth, you know, not a lot of herky-jerky. Everything's in a straight line, nice and fluidity. That's another good word.
Do you use that one, Keith, or is that
I
over
haven't,
your
but I'm
pay
gonna.
grade?
I'm gonna use it.
I have intellectual copyright on fluidity.
You want to see fluidity? Watch Jim Kirby take pictures at a sporting event. Now that's a fluid guy. Always moving. Spent a week with Jim in Fort Dodge, and some would say it felt like a month. Pass downfield, caught at the 42. Nice pickup. I love my time in Fort Dodge. Don't get me wrong.
It was hot, that's for sure.
It was hot is what I mean. It just seemed long. That last day we went from pants in the morning to almost no shirts in the afternoon, evening.
And you know what would have been worse, Paul, if we would have had a weather delay and the sun would have come out and we would have baked even more.
We would have. Oh, yeah. 35-0, Valley leads, but the Rams have the football and they're moving. They're at the Valley 42. They're going out to the left side with Nothway, and he is just pulled down from behind. Eric Henning, leading tackler for the Tigers, or one of their leading tacklers, and makes another open field tackle tonight.
He has really stepped up at that defensive end position. He is playing it as well as I have seen several people playing. We've had some great defensive end play in Gary Swenson's tenure here. Mr. Henning is just really come into his own.
Johnston leads Urbandale 17-10. That one is a little closer now than what it started. Trickery, they're going to Jennings around the left side. He's got it. He's at the 40, 35, 31st down and more inside the 30-yard line to the 25. Big pickup by Kalen Jennings. Nice pickup Great play call.
Perfect timing with that. Catching Valley, leaning, and over pursuing. That trickery moved him down.
18-yard pickup for the Rams. Can they get into the end zone and get some of that clock to stop? McLaughlin in the shotgun, sends Drees in motion. Fake it to him, they go back to Nothway. Nothway, nice gain inside the 20. Tackle for the Tigers by Pete Economos. And also Tristan Cobb in the neighborhood.
Tackle for the Tigers by number 3 Tristan Cobb and number 11 Pete Economos.
Oh, wow. Assumption tonight beat Fort Madison 70-0. Whew. I just like looking at some of these scores. And I'll tell you what, that Twitter, that CISN TV, we got all sorts of great feeds that we follow. Hand off to Nothway. He's at the 20, goes airborne. He had gained 6 on the previous play. I think he got another 2. We're gonna have a player down, or
yeah, we have a player down, and then we had a little extracurricular a little further down the field.
Also on the tackle, number 11, Pete Economos.
as this ball is now, right now it's a 3rd and 1. It's going to be against Valley, dead ball personal foul, and against Southeast Polk. The offsetting penalties. Extracurricular, huh, Jim?
Yes, it was. Naughty, boys. I'll tell you, number 38, Joe Morris laid the wood to number 8, Garrett Northway, in that last tackle, and I think that kind of started some of that pushing and shoving.
Jim's Reports brought to you by Shields. This is my year. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by G&L Clothing, a real clothing store with real people selling regular big and tall clothing for almost a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll in Des Moines. Left side goes the sweep. They needed 1. I don't think they got even back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, I think the Tigers pushed them back 2 more.
Carry on the play by Garrett Northway.
That is just great defensive flow to the ball. They stretched it out well. Polk never really even had a chance to get that ball pushed upfield.
Loss of 3. So just when you thought Southeast Polk had some momentum, now 4th down, anything can happen here. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Nothway goes to the right side. McLaughlin looks down the middle. Now he's flushed. Spin, nowhere. First stop made, Dawson Edwards, number 37 for Valley. And he sacks McLaughlin, puts it at the 20, which was basically the line of scrimmage. They'll make it the 21 for measure. So, again, the Rams turn the ball over on downs. It'll be Valley football at the 3:34 mark here in the 3rd quarter. Valley with the football at the 21-yard line, their own 21. They lead 35-0, scored on their first 5 possessions. The first time they even had their punt team on was to start the second half. They go Cook up the middle, and he gets almost 6 yards.
If you remember back to Valley Waukee when Cook was out on the field, you know, he was a little bit timid when he was running in there, checking that knee out. That was a good, hard run. He had 0 concerns on that, just straight ahead power.
That knee was injured last year?
Yes.
That is kind of one of those things. It's in your head a little bit. Cook gets it, and he has a first down. Another hard run. Griffin Vesley and also Michael Traeger with the stop, but not before. The Tigers move it forward up to the 33, gain of 5. 2 run plays. You don't really need to run the ball when you have a continuous clock, but you do want to keep your team on the field. I formation for the Tigers. Under center is Lombardi. Hands off to Cook, and he's going to be stopped and dropped. That's Cale Lortscher.
Carrying on the play, number 33
on that
Cal.
On that particular play, they talk about offensive linemen having pancake blocks. Mr. Reardon probably scored the best pancake block I've seen as he put the defensive end down pretty hard.
Reardon committed to Nebraska. And setting up the screen, Lombardi going deep. He's got the home run ball, Carlo Marble. Oh, at the 30-yard line, in and out. Kind of a tough play. Don't know if Carlo had much of a chance to get that one. Carlo was looking for touchdown number 2 on the season and on the night. It'll be 3rd down.
Just a nice and easy pass, 55 yards in the air, and that thing was on a rope.
Lombardi already has one offer from the University of Virginia, and I'm sure that won't be the last offer he receives. Picked up that offer. I know he did some camps this summer. He progressed. I'll tell you, he is just something to see, even without football pads. I saw him play baseball this summer, and you see him in wrestling. I mean, he is just a well-put-together athlete. Rocky flushed. He's spinning. He's trying to buy some time. Runs back to the right. He's going to set and try to throw one of those other good ones. It's going to be caught by Austin Hinkle at the 28-yard line. I don't believe that. That was 65 yards in the air, Keith.
I have seen some strong arms in college. That thing went down the field, and it went down quick. And he did it on the run moving forward.
The play goes 40, but he was all the way back to like the 15 when he threw that thing. Southeast Polk's got to be doing the Rodney Dangerfield. What do I got to do around here? Handoff, back up the middle, Cook, up the gut, huge hole. He's down inside the 20. Gain of almost 8.
You know, you talk about Rocky and how strong he is in football and wrestling and a lot of things that he does. He's also a pretty good track athlete. My lawnmower, just a real quick story here, my lawnmower is not a good machine. And so I had to call up there and have him come down, help me push it into the garage because the drive belt came off. He came down barefoot. I thought that's going to be a great headline. Coach Swenson kills assistant as Rocky's foot gets injured pushing a lawnmower into the garage.
The exciting conclusion to this story when we come back. The 4th quarter's next on CISN TV.
You have to be focused on the customer.
Valley comes back onto the football field after a 45-yard pass play earlier by Rocky Lombardi to Austin Hinkle. Tigers have the football, 2nd and 2. Back under center, Lombardi. Actually, new quarterback for the Tigers and new running back as well. So let's do our part. Jacob Morris gets the handoff from Will Roderick.
Little known fact here, Will Roderick, he's 3 for 3 on the season so far passing, 100% completion rate. But so is Southeast Polk's backup quarterback.
This is true. Other scores, Johnston leads Urbandale 17-10. That's a game you can see on CISN.TV. 11:28, handoff again up the middle. And a huge hole and a nice spin move. Down and down is Austin Cook inside the 10 to the 4, 3-yard line. 1st and goal from the 3. Waukee and Dowling, the Maroons starting to put a little distance there, lead the Warriors 28-14. The Hawks lead the Jaguars 24-13. Hoover leads North 19-17. No score, Lincoln and Roosevelt at half. Could have been a legal procedure. Cook gets it off the left side. So I guess they're trying to get Cook a touchdown here.
Well, he's certainly earning
He's
one.
earning one, absolutely.
Tackle on the play by number 92, Cameron Panovich.
And I'd like to have a conversation with Pamela Jones Burner on Facebook. I apologize. I now see what she was talking about earlier on my post. I wrote that we have Dowling at Waukee and Urbandale at Waukee and Ankeny at Centennial. And she was like, how many teams in Waukee? And I'm like, there's only one right now. Last week, Jim Dewey talked a little bit about the potential for a second high school in Waukee. And I now read the post. My Facebook post had Waukee, and I meant to say Johnston. So thank you. I apologize, and I'm trying to update these as we go along. So anytime you hear Keith talking, why it doesn't sound like I'm listening. It's not normal. Well, it is normal. I usually don't hear what he has to say. It's just like his wife. But
pretty much.
Yeah, and that's what's happening here. So we're trying to update things as we go. It's a fun little game.
A friendly little game.
It is. Rudrock throws it. Oh, he had Hinkle in the end zone. Incomplete. Rudrock. It's not Rudrock. It's not Wellsburg. No, MM.
Ackley, Geneva.
No, it's the other one.
Oh.
It's the one. It's just north of them. Rudd, Rockford, Marble Rock.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
South and east of Mason City. Farther south and east of Norris Springs, Rock Falls, which is now Central Springs, as they joined with North Central of Manly. Central Springs played at the state softball tournament this year.
How about that?
So I hadn't seen them. They kept the blue and mostly blue. Roderick, here comes some heat from the left side, goes around, and I'll tell you what, if John Reardon would have turned around and it was a tackle-eligible play, I think he would have caught that and been in the end zone.
Well, I'm a little bit surprised we didn't draw a flag on that for an illegal man downfield. The ball sailed just a little bit beyond the line of scrimmage on that screen pass.
So now the Tigers will line up to kick a field goal. They bring Cole Hahn back on. As it's 4th and 11, the ball will be spotted about the 18. Straight away makes it a 28-yard field goal attempt. Hahn getting an opportunity to kick something other than an extra point, and he capitalizes on that opportunity. Puts it through 38-0 on the field goal. We'll take a break. The final 8-10 after this on CISN.TV.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
28-yard field goal is good by Cole Hahn. Makes the Tiger lead now 38-0. Next week, Valley and Dowling do battle. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock from Drake Stadium. Indianola leads Des Moines East 10-3 at half, and City High in front of Ames 23-0. That is a fun one because that is ahead of that Iowa State game. Apparently those two teams play tomorrow.
I've been hearing something about it.
Yeah, well, you know, and actually you haven't been hearing as much as normal, as Murphy's kick is high and deep inside the 3, taken by Dries. He's at the 10, 15. Gets up to about the 20-yard line before he's tackled by Ben Wilcoxon. Let's go down. Jim Kirby on our Shield sideline for this report.
Well, we're trying to find some good news for the Southeast Polk Rams, and I think I found it. Braden Vasey is on the sidelines with his pads on, and he's walking around, so that's good news for the Rams. Earlier in the game, it looked like they might have lost him for the season with possible ACL, but he's up walking around. Doesn't have his helmet. He might not play today, but, I mean, that's got to be some good news for the Rams tonight.
You don't like to see any of those guys go down no matter what time it is. All right, thank you, Jim, for that report. Central Iowa Sports Network brought to you by Learning RX, brain training and cognitive skills testing, helping children think, remember, read, and learn better. Learning at 4949 West Town Parkway, Suite 160 and 1205 North Ankeny Boulevard. As another offensive play for the Rams goes backwards. Wilcoxon and Joel Alexander do damage for the Tigers. 7 minutes remain in this contest. Godfather, Schottenkirk, Better Business Bureau, Learning RX, Core Power, Powerade, Dasani, and Cookies by Design all bring you this broadcast tonight. McLaughlin rolls, sets, throws a pretty-looking pass. Oh, wow, just too hard to handle for Parker Dries. McLaughlin can throw a nice ball as well.
He really did. That was actually perfectly thrown. Coverage was pretty good. The defensive back and the ball got there at the same time. Nate Yenser, brother to Nick Yenser, on the coverage there.
It'll be 3rd and 15 for the Rams. Trying to find something positive to push it out. Dowling now leads 28-21 with 6 minutes to go, but Waukee has the football. That game also on the network as McLaughlin is going to be sacked. And it's Michael Christ.
Quarterback sack for the Tigers, number 98, Michael Christ. Also on the tackle.
Coming up in our post-game show, let's see. Who could Jim Kirby chase down today? Javon Mason with 2 big games. Marble, it's an emotional day for him.
Yes.
So, Jim, I just don't know about that one yet. Although I think Jim has some insight on that. So you've got Austin Hinkle had a good night, Jim. That's another one. Yeah, you like that one? Higher up. 1, just 1. All right. Giving him some options as the fair catch is made by Austin Hinkle, the 43, and then a penalty flag comes out. Did they not give him space?
Well, I don't know. Nothing seemed to jump out at me.
I don't either. Jim Kirby's down on our sideline.
I don't know. Maybe somebody said something. That's I'm wondering if there was some words exchanged just after that play ended. Yeah.
Against the Rams. Yeah, okay. All right, what do you think in postgame? What do you...
I've already got Carlo Marble lined up.
There you
He's
go.
going to talk with us after the game.
Okay. All right, very good. Nice work, Jim Kirby, down on our Shields sideline. Shields, this is my year. And we'll have that in not quite 5 minutes, but with the continuous clock.
With the passing of Roy Marble and also another tough loss for the Hawkeyes and Tyler Sash.
You know, I saw a stat today from ESPN's Chris Hassel, formerly WHO, the Muscatine native, St. Ambrose graduate. I think he said that Tyler Sash in 5 seasons, handoff off the left side for the Tigers, goes to Brady Wolf, that it was like an Outback Bowl, it was like 3 bowl games, and then a Super Bowl. 4 out of 5 years, Sash won some type of huge bowl game.
That's
the biggest of them all.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, had a ring. Sash was a different kind of a player. He was from that era, that Tim Dwight type, that Tim Dodge type guy, smaller, that maybe other towns or other schools maybe passed on his size, but was just had something special. Wolf takes the handoff and is tackled. First tripped up behind the line by Sam Hackbarth. We got a hold against the Tigers. We'll bring him back here. So now we're getting just a tiny bit sloppy. But that happens. You're getting these guys some snaps, and that's important too.
That's very important.
You know, with Sash and, you know, those circumstances haven't been ironed out yet exactly. I know they did do an autopsy. But Marble, we do know, Roy, that was cancer. And you'd see him, and he just didn't quite look the same. But, you know, I remember that was in my wheelhouse of growing up, was watching those Hawkeye teams.
Yeah.
You know, Roy and Ed Horton and B.J. Armstrong and Jeff Moe and that early year of Tom Davis. They were just an incredible. Brad Lowhouse. That was a fun. They had Carver Hawkeye rocking.
They did. And nobody liked UNLV those years.
I don't even think UNLV liked them. As the handoff goes, Chase Stahl.
Carry on the play by number 16, Chase Stahl.
In talking a little bit more about Tyler Sash,
Tackle for the Rams by number
I was
88,
very
Hunter
impressed
Salyer.
with a former Southeast Polk athlete and Iowa State running back. Jeff Woody put together a tremendous article out on Twitter, I believe, and really touched home to, I think, a lot of athletes of that caliber. And you know, thank you to Mr. Woody for doing that and having the courage to kind of lay that out there.
Well, Jeff was just in the same press box 2 weeks ago calling the game with MediaCom with B.J. Shaban, and he's been kind of doing some of the media tours on the local stations, and you hear his perspective. And before this, you just kind of knew WHO had done a couple of stories on him, talking about his proposal and his wedding, and just kind of the way Woody was and Woody is, and that's a good voice to capture. 4th and 17 for the Tigers. Roderick is going to be sacked. No chance. Behind the line, goes down by Cameron Padovich and also Hunter Salyers.
At their own 43.
As we try to give you a little bit of other score updates. I had them here, then Pete took them away. I believe that Ankeny game has gone final. The Hawks beat the Jaguars. So that, as Coach Nelson said this morning, it's not a rivalry until you win. Ankeny hadn't beaten Centennial in 2 tries. They have now, so I guess you could say the rivalry is on. As I think the Jags were the home team tonight.
Carry on the play by Cade Fulton.
And I work with a
Tackle on the play by number 27,
mother of one of the cheerleaders, and she knew it was going to be a big game tonight, and that's it's the third time that those two schools have played. Brad Zelenovich was the head coach for Ankeny the first 2 years of that game, and now he's the head coach of the Rams. New quarterback. They're going deep already on the first play from scrimmage. It's going to be caught down that left sideline. Catch made by McGuire Schultz. There you go.
A nice play. Austin Fest got beat there and was able to get him tripped up before he would just kind of prance into the end zone. But a very nice play by Southeast Polk.
Cade Fulton now at quarterback for the Rams. He looks to the right. He's going to throw right. Nice ball is there. Up it goes. Intercepted, but no penalty flag. Okay. I was watching that close on the binoculars. Looked like maybe both players were just going for the ball, and it's an interception, and that'll all but do it of this ball game. Jacob Spahn picks it off, and that is going to be the way we are going to finish tonight. Valley is going to go on to a 38-0 win over Southeast Polk. The Rams fall to 0-3. The Tigers improve to 3-0.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. Next week, the Tigers play Dowling Catholic at Drake Stadium next Friday, September 18th. Our next home game is Friday, September 25th against Des Moines Hoover. We thank you for supporting.
That is our final, 38-0. And as you see, the two teams meeting there at midfield, and we will chase down Coach Swenson and also Carlo Marble when we come back. The post-game show begins right after this as number 1 Valley rolls 38-0 over Southeast Polk. The post-game show next on CISN.
You have to be focused on the customer.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Fireplace Superstore is growing. We're building a great new location next to our current store at 109th and Douglas.
Cut!
What?
Action!
We don't want to move it, so we're putting everything on.
Cut! Action!
Our warehouses are too full, and this building's going to go up fast, so we need
Cut!
you to. Seriously, please help us move. Everything's on sale. Fireplaces, patio furniture, grills, fire pits, they're all on sale at Fireplace Superstore, just east of I-35 on Douglas Avenue in Urbandale.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Tonight's postgame brought to you by Dasani Water, refreshment redefined. So we begin our postgame here on Central Iowa Sports Network. We're going to continue our postgame here. We'll talk with Carlo Marble. He had his first touchdown catch of the season for the Valley Tigers earlier on tonight, and we'll also talk with head coach Gary Swenson. Keith Bourne is here. That's him. My name is Paul Yeager. Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Other games still going on CISN.TV. It is Dowling and Waukee. They are coming down to the final moments. Also, Johnston and Urbandale also can be seen on the network as well. Johnston just went on a 99-yard touchdown drive. Johnston likely to improve to 3-0 here in a moment. Dowling would improve to 2-0 if they could hold on. Waukee would fall to 1-2. Very good 1-2 team. Their two losses coming to the two schools from West Des Moines. Next week it's Valley and Dowling, and we'll have that game here. That'll be our game of the week on CISN.TV. And we'll have that one covered for you from beginning to end. But we're going to go down to the sideline now. Jim Kirby for this sideline report.
We're talking with Carlo Marble. Carlo, obviously a tough day for you and your family. What's it like coming here and playing this game with your friends?
They brought me in. Today was a tough day, but they brought me in, said if I need anything, just ask them, so that's a good feeling to know that you have family on the football team too.
And then you had that big touchdown catch in the first half. You had a moment, I suppose you're praying for your dad. How important was that touchdown pass for you today?
It was very important, He's watching down on me, so, I thought I'd reward him.
He was a great player, and all our prayers and our thoughts are with you and your family, Carlo.
Thank you.
Carlo Marble, our Player of the Game Award, brought to you by Cookies by Design. The Player of the Game Award goes to Carlo Marble. And Marble was one of those guys that had a good game. And another one was head coach Gary Swenson. We'll have him in just a moment. As you can see, Cookies by Design, the original cookie bouquet company, brings you your Player of the Game Award. That's Cookies by Design. As we continue here in our post-game, brought to you by Dasani Water, refreshment redefined. We'll also have another post-game interview for you in just a moment as Jim makes his way down. I think he got caught up in the Tiger crazies, didn't he, Keith?
It appears as such.
He's chasing him. Probably thinking there wasn't anything to talk about. All right, let's go down to our sideline report.
All right, Coach, the second half, more of the same. What did you take away from your team tonight?
I was really happy because I thought we beat they're not a bad football team. We did some things, again, like we talked about at halftime with big plays. The 35-0 score at halftime, when you can be up on a good football team and be in complete control and have a running clock to start the second half, you've done some good things.
Now, Coach, you can celebrate for a little while, but now you got Dowling next week. How do you keep your guys focused?
I don't think that'll be any problem. We'll be ready.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Gary Swenson with Jim Kirby on our post-game interview, brought to you by Godfather's Pizza. Get a medium taco pizza or a medium one-topping pizza, And a cinnamon dessert pizza for just $24.99. That's Godfather's. Bringing you that post-game interview. All right, so, Keith, let's break it down just real quick.
Okay.
Scoring recaps. Can you remember them all? There were 6 of them tonight.
If you refresh my memory.
Started with, one of them's easy because he got 2. And we talked to the other one. There's 3.
Mr. Mason.
Mr. Mason started things with a 71-yard touchdown run, made it 7-0 Valley. One play drive. Then a 34-yard touchdown pass to Carlo Marble, made it 14-0 Tigers at that point. Then Braden Heald had a pass of 40 yards, 21-0 Tigers. You get the feeling of where we're going on this one. Then Javon Mason, a 35-yard touchdown pass, 28-0 Tigers at that point. And then right before half, it was Austin Hinkle on a 36-yard touchdown pass, 35-0 into the break, and then a field goal of 28 yards by Cole Hahn makes it 38-0. Tigers win over a good Southeast Polk team. I don't think those teams, they could meet up again in the postseason. Let's take a look at some of the other scores. Is this a final now? No, Waukee has the ball on the 16. So again, Dowling going into the final basically 2 minutes with the game on the line, and their defense has to bail them out. Last week on this field, Urbandale couldn't quite score. Dowling leads Waukee 28-21. That's also on CISN.TV right now. Ankeny defeated Centennial tonight, 24-16, also on the network. Lincoln and Roosevelt in the fourth quarter, no score in that one. Indianola leads East 10-3 at last check. City High down to Ames 26-10. It's a final from Johnston as the Dragons improved to 3-0 with a 24-10 victory. Johnston beat Southeast Polk on a last under 30-second play against these Rams, and then they beat Ankeny last week on a 53-yard field goal as time expires. So, hey, Coach Woodley's got it going on.
Yes, he does. And, you know, he comes from such a great football family. The name itself carries quite a bit of weight. But, yeah, they seem to have some things going well for him. Word is they got a very good running back.
Running back
over
is
there.
what I've heard. So we'll have their games, their home games throughout the season here. All right, next week, Valley Dowling. Always good. As Coach said, you don't have to really tell them. They're just going to be motivated. These have just been slobber knockers the last few years. They're just such good football games.
They are. There's a reason that they bid this up as a rivalry game, and so it's fun to see that happen. Drake Stadium, pretty nice setting for a football game, and I think they hold 14,000 possibly.
Yeah, something like that. And it's been more than 10 the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
That it's been there. We'll probably get your insight at some point during that game next week, but we'll be back at 7 o'clock next Friday night from Drake Stadium. This place will be empty on a Friday. It'll be a little rare, a little different. We'll see you next week here. Keep up with us on Twitter during the week at CISN TV and also on our Facebook page and the website of CISN.TV. For Jim Kirby, for Keith Bornis and the entire Central Iowa Sports Network crew, my name is Paul Yeager. Good night from Valley Stadium. The Tigers improved to 3-0 with a 38-0 win. Good night and see you next week.